All right, we are live. Let's see if I can send this link to a few people and get it going. Thank you to Dungeon Master Brad for telling me I forgot a couple skills, and basically I forgot my background stuff to add to my character sheet for my Wood Elf that I did on my video. So thank you for that. And, oh, that's weird. Why is it... That's not what I want. Rest page. Huh. All right, there we go. And the reason I'm doing this here is because I tried to do it as an event. Again, it wouldn't let me broadcast it. So I will not be doing that anymore. And yeah, always try and do them live on the spot like this. And then we'll just wait for people to join. See how it goes. So, Tim Harper might be joining us. Hoping that SR2 Joker can join us. Let's see. A few other people maybe. If not, you'll just hear me ramble about different things. So we will see. Right now I'm going through my Facebook friend list and sending invites in case anybody wants to join. And yeah, we'll see if we can get this thing kicked off right. Excuse me. Hopefully you guys can hear me pretty well. I'm going to play with some different apps probably too to see if I can do anything with that. I haven't done a lot with apps, so. Sorry for the dead air, by the way. Everyone probably went over to the other chat, so let's see. So I will go click that. Hey, you made it.
Hey, what's up, dude?
Not much. You get like 1,000,000 alerts for this?
Yeah, it sent me like 4.
Sorry about that.
Oh, that's all right. Is my video working?
I don't think so.
There
Not
it
yet.
goes.
Yeah, sometimes it takes a minute. My daughter just went down for a nap, so figured I'd jump on here and do one.
Uh, I hope Tim Harper shows me to talk to him.
Me too. He said he would, and I'm wondering if he's going to show up at the other one and be like, "Oh, nobody's here." So hopefully one of the 4 alerts was to this one.
So what happened during that Heroes Unlimited game? Did you guys have trouble getting it to go up live?
I don't think so. It's under AJ Pickett's account.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so he's got it up actually. No, we had. I think it went pretty smooth. What's his name? Gaming Beast. Sean. He showed up completely hammered. So he was like talking nonstop over the intro video and everything. But it was fun. It was a good time. I
That
was
sounds
trying not to
awesome.
steal the spotlight because my guy could be anywhere at any time. So I purposely took my guy out of it by doing I tackled a mech off the platform, and so I ran at full speed and tackled him. And it takes like 3 actions of my 5 per round. So when I did that, it took me out for the next 3 actions, and so everybody else got to wipe out the other guys.
Wow, that's awesome. What
Yeah.
was uh what was the general idea of the adventure? Like, what were you guys doing?
I guess there's an 80s cartoon called Galaxy Rangers. And
Oh, that's old
so
school.
Yeah, so we were like kind of like that, and I was our pilot, and so when we basically I was flying early on, and then we followed this bad guy into this settlement on this one planet, and then we got like while we were chasing this refugee or whatever, we got communications over our intercom from the civilization asking us for medical supplies and stuff. So I was just like, "Yeah, we'll help you after we take care of this." So we ended up taking this, actually landing, and then as soon as we got out of the ship, my character was also psionic, so I had an ability called Sixth Sense and stuff like that. So basically, you can't sneak up on me. And then on top of that, with my super speed, like my guy was just unstoppable. So when we landed, I could tell there was something bad out there, and so I just took off and I left everyone right there. They didn't know why. And I saw the dinosaurs, and so I like ninja kicked one in the face, and then I came back around and punched another one, and yeah, it was pretty sweet. So we ended up taking them out pretty quick, and then after that, I decided to run up on top of like this hill to see what I could see on the other side, and I saw like the bad guy's complex. So what I did is I sprinted around it and shot a telepathic image to everybody else so they could get like a full 360 view of the whole thing.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, and then I started carrying people over to it that I could actually pick up, which was about half of us. And then the other ones were too heavy, so it's just like, hey, you're on your own. We had Sean's character was a cyborg, or cybernetic guy or whatever, and his finger joints were grenades. So I was taking I took one of his finger joints from him and dropped it in like their communications tower, like for an airport. Imagine like one of those. So I jumped up because I can jump almost 100 feet in the air, punched through the window and dropped it in there, and then they threw it out.
Oh God.
Hmm.
It sounds like it's pretty wild.
Oh, it was. It was completely over the top. That's what made it so great. But those are the kind of games you can get with Palladium. So, oh, let's see. I got 5 alerts already. Here we go. He did respond. Logged into the Hangout. Go here to this one. There. That should work. Probably sitting there waiting like, where is everybody? Yeah.
I have a feeling that Ninjas and Super Spies is going to be quite similar.
Oh, it should be. It better be. The only problem with that is I am playing my Pathfinder game then. So if I do jump into that, it'll be probably about an hour late. I'm going to try and wrap my game up around 10, but if it doesn't wrap up at 10, then I won't actually be able to switch over till about 11, I'm assuming. So, but yeah, I'm excited about playing that. Welcome, Tim.
Hey, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Hey, Tim, what's up?
Okay. I've had a few problems the last few times I've tried to get into Hangouts, so.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it
Are we,
wasn't letting me broadcast on the other one because
okay.
I set it up as an event, so I just was like, I'm just going to set this one up.
And
That way everybody
looks like
can
we're
watch
live
us.
already?
Yeah.
All right, here we go.
Yeah, I went in, I was like, start broadcast, and dead air. Yes. Yeah. I think I've done about 4 or 5 of these now. One of them I had to take down because somebody said some things that I think were not good to have up on my channel, so I decided to take that one down.
Hey, what's up, fellas?
Hey, what's up, Philip?
Not too much. Look, new look for summer.
Oh, nice, man.
Yeah, it had to be done. When I was watching those videos of myself play the games online, I was like messing with my hair the whole time. I said, this has to stop. So.
Man, I'm gonna miss your hair though. That was such nice hair.
Oh, thank you. I saved it. I was gonna send it to some people who have cancer.
I'm balding.
I know the feeling.
Oh, really?
Oh, yes.
Headwear for me is not a choice.
How bad is it, Andrew?
It's pretty bad. Like I'm getting bald.
Oh, you're not that bad. I got it worse in that one spot.
So Tim, you getting excited for Brigade Con?
Well, I'm excited for those guys who can attend. I'm not gonna be able to show up or play or do anything fun, but I'll try to spread the word around and see if I can send some people your way. I'll have a screaming bundle of joy by that time. So.
Oh, congrats! That's awesome, man.
Is it due here soon in October?
Little Harper number 2 is in the pipe. Yeah, it's probably gonna be around Halloween, so we've been calling
Awesome.
baby pumpkin. So we'll have
On Halloween, we find
stuck
out
a
if
little
number
child to
2
take care of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's a boy or girl, so it's just gonna be a surprise.
Oh, nice.
Well, you'll be there in spirit, man, because I'm going to work that mega dungeon into the meat grinder.
That's good. I hope you use it to great lethal, I don't know, intent or effect, I guess.
Yeah, I'll make sure to tell you how many lives it claims.
You got to keep a
Sounds good.
counter. You know what you should do, Andrew, is with your Google Toolbox, you should put a kill count in your sub line.
Oh, yeah, I've been working on like a banner for the game.
Like this. Let's see if that works. Did it work? There we go.
Yes. Excellent.
Oh,
Right.
nice.
Yeah, and just update it every few minutes. Just be like, boom.
Well, I convinced those guys to let me run it as a 4-hour game instead of an 8-hour game because that was just gonna be insane.
And
Like in 4 hours, I'll probably kill 50 people if there's a queue of people waiting. So I don't even know what would happen in an 8-hour game.
Yeah, that would be pretty ridiculous.
I ran Keep on the Borderlands for 16 hours at a convention once. That was pretty intense. So,
Oh, wow.
we had breaks in between though, so like an hour break here or there.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I'm volunteering this weekend at GrandCon here in Grand Rapids, Michigan, and I'm just going to be helping whatever they need me to do, but I'm not going to be running any games. In fact, there aren't any openings right now. But if something opens up, I might try to jump in and run a 5e game, as long as I'm not on my shift.
Yeah, man. Next time there's a local one like that, I'll have to come on over to Grand Rapids for it.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. I know they do some over there, like near Ann Arbor and Ypsi every now and then too. So I'd be up for heading out there too.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Just keep your eyes posted. I know last year there was one at some hotel down there, so kind of ghetto, I guess, but still, it was something to do. These little juice things are so good. Oh, love them.
so this
Anyways.
meat grinder you guys were just talking about, was that from Gen Con?
No, it's actually going to be one I'm doing for Brigade Con, but that's what started the whole thing.
Okay.
When I put up that Brigade Con or the review from Gen Con, some people thought it was entertaining and wanted me to do it at the Brigade Con.
Excellent. Good.
Yeah, and I'm
Yeah,
going to
and
be
then I just sent him a adventure, and hopefully you can crib some notes from it or take out some encounters from it and throw them in there and horrify his players.
That'll be
Yeah.
awesome.
It's amazing stuff too. It's the type of dark and twisted dungeon I like. So
I
It's
might
kinda
try
my
to jump
rep,
into that.
yeah, I mean, if you got 3 or 4 minutes.
Oh, I got 3 or 4 minutes. You better make my death very good.
Yeah, it was funny at Gen Con when the guy was doing it. He was keeping tally too, like basically putting notches in his rifle every time he killed somebody. There's like a line of like 20 or 30 people that kept cycling into the game. It was pretty ridiculous.
Wow.
It sounds like some of the games that Dave Arneson runs. I've heard that he's a pretty deadly, or used to ran when he was a GM. So
Have you guys figured out how you're going to do it yet? Like if you're just going to bring people in and then kick them out when they're dead?
Well, I'm a little confused exactly what's going on with the scheduling and stuff for Brigade Con, but it seemed like they were saying me and DMJs are like exempt from the scheduling structure. So I was thinking like I'll have a chat open somewhere and people will just form a queue. And then when someone dies, I'll just give them a salute and boot them from Google Plus and bring somebody else in.
Yeah, don't even tell them. Just boot them and then give the description of their death so they have to watch it.
Oh shit.
Yeah, it should be good times.
yeah, as they start crying and weeping, you just kick them out of the room. You know.
Have you started writing different ways you're going to mutilate people?
I've got some ideas, but I haven't started working on it yet. It's going to be something I start probably in October.
Mm-hmm.
I plan on doing like a dry run of some of the concepts with one of my home groups to put them through their paces so they know that they're not outside of my wrath.
Oh, that's awesome. You're going to have well over 100 descriptions of death.
Yep. It's going to be bloody. There's going to be a lot of stuff going on, though, I think, so it'll be interesting to see how much attention we actually get for the games.
Mm-hmm. I offered to run a game, and I haven't heard a confirmation if I'm actually going to be running one or not. And nobody's asked me when I'm available that day either.
Did you pick a time slot, or did you send an email or message?
No, I think I just said it in a comment. I did send Barker a message the other day about it, and I haven't heard back from him yet. But not a big deal. I mean, either way, I'll participate somehow.
You should probably just send him another message or post something in the group.
Yeah, on the con men.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'll do that here I'll do it right now, just so I don't forget. Because I always forget stuff if I wait. But, oh man, so all these economics videos are coming out now thanks to Hollowed Wanderer, it seems. I think I've seen 3 now about economics in gaming.
Oh really?
Yeah,
Oh,
Andrew did one too, I think. Didn't you, Andrew?
I did one, yeah, that's kind of loosely created, or related to it. It was the ones where I was talking about potions, but it wasn't directly on economy.
Yeah. I need to do one now, though. I'm feeling left out. You guys are all doing these good topics, and here I am. Just talking about my character that I didn't even do correctly.
Can you fill me in about your character? I haven't had a chance to watch your video yet.
Oh, okay. I made a wood elf for 5th edition. It's a fighter with archery as the fighting style, and the background I rolled up was an outlander, and I forgot to add the skills for that. So my actual character only had 3 skills or whatever proficiencies.
Okay.
But I went back and fixed it, so now I have 5.
Okay.
But
can you tell me why you chose the wood elf over maybe the high elf?
Well, next month I'm going to be running encounters, and so I just kind of was like, I need to make some variety of characters. I didn't want them to have cantrips or anything. I didn't want them to have spells. So I didn't choose the high elf, and then I didn't want to go with a drow style, so I just chose wood elf by process of elimination. But I plan on making another fighter that's more of a melee attacker. I don't know if it's going to be sword and board or if it's going to be dual wielding. And then I'll go through all the classes and try to mix in races just however. Now, I do want to be clear. The one I made, it is not supposed to be like Legolas. So I just want that to be clear. Although, after I watched my video back, I was like, that sounds like Legolas.
You're going to be surfing downstairs on shields and...
Oh, God, please no.
Yeah, I don't really want him to be like that.
Oh, those are the worst moments in those movies.
I actually made a pretty big blunder myself in the last campaign I was in with DMJ. When I was doing a bonus action, I was saying dodge, but actually I had written it down wrong on my sheet. It's dash, disengage, and hide, and accidentally wrote down dodge, and you're not supposed to do that.
You can do dodge as a bonus action if you're a rogue, I believe.
You can't, actually.
Oh, you can't?
Not dodge.
Really? I thought that was one of the extra things.
Oh.
There is one at 5th level, but it's a reaction to being hit, and it's not a bonus action. And what it does when you use Uncanny Dodge is that it allows you to take half damage, not to escape the hit to begin with.
Oh.
Yeah, I
Yep,
made a
5th
mistake, and I
level.
felt really bad. So.
But your cunning... Oh, yeah, you're right. Your cunning action doesn't allow dodge. Yeah,
Now,
we were talking about this the other night.
Yeah, on page 192 in the player's handbook, I was
Yep.
looking up information about each category, and I suspect I was looking at this page when I was writing my stuff down. And right next to dash disengage is dodge, and I think
Yep.
it's when I was on that section, I wrote that stuff down.
Yeah. Huh. Interesting. Yeah, I screwed up the dodge video I made too. So all these 5e videos I put out have something wrong in them.
Well, I
Just,
escaped the Minotaur unscathed. So.
Man, I'm supposed to be running this game next month? Oh my gosh.
Has anybody been making like homebrew races for 5e yet? I've been doing a little bit of that on the side.
No, I have not. I was
Trying
thinking
to
about
fit
making
the
the
5e
nerd-
races to like their own setting. Oops, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh no, you're okay. For the dark dwarves or whatever, I was thinking about trying to make the Durgar because it's mentioned in the book, but it doesn't have a how to make it. So I was thinking about trying to do that and giving them some of their magic spells and things like that. But no, I haven't done anything yet, really.
I really
Yeah,
want
like
to
I
make
was looking at the
a.
Elven races. And... Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say I really want to make a an affiliate race, but I suspect I'm gonna have to wait until the monster manual comes out so I can see what all they would have. That's about it.
What
Make the
about you,
mind
Andrew?
flayers.
When I trying to start up a Planescape campaign, I'll probably have to make some stuff, but until then, I'm just kind of sitting on it. I want to see what comes out in the DMG as well, so.
Yeah, there might
Yeah.
be some options.
Yeah, I've heard rumors about that. People say that they're going to put more things in there, like classes and races, but I've heard other people say, no, that's not going to happen. Is there anything official on that? Anybody
The only
know?
thing official I've seen is that they're pushing it back to do it right. So I think
Yeah,
December,
like an extra
9th, I
week
guess.
or something, 2 weeks.
I thought that they were going to bring in the Warforged and the Kendar into the DMG.
The Kinder? Uh-oh.
Yeah, I really don't like them, but I mean, whatever. Who cares?
I never played as either of those, because isn't that a 4E thing?
Yeah, our Warforged was Eberron. Is that right?
I believe so, yes. It's the place of high technology, right, everyone?
Yep.
Yeah, that's everyone. That was like 3-5 days it came out.
Yeah, that's one setting I don't have too much experience in that I really want to, because it seems awesome, but never had a group to play with for it.
Yeah, it has that kind of a steampunk flavor to it, doesn't it?
And so is the Warforged like almost like an iron golem or something?
They're almost like a walking magical item that's been all put together.
Okay.
Almost like a Cyberman or something, or a Cylon. Just a robot of destruction, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong.
I think that's a pretty good description. Robot of destruction.
And then what about the Kinder? Because everybody bashes that also.
They're like little
Well, that's from
insects.
Dragonlance.
Yeah.
Oh, is that where those originated? God.
Yeah, Kender? Yeah, that came from Dragonlance. So they've been
Nice.
around for a while. You know, they cause trouble, mischief, and steal shit. You know, it's pretty much it.
So is that why everyone hates them? Because they steal from everybody?
all that, and they can't stop touching things like magical cursed items or portals that blow everybody up, or that kind of thing. Or they steal from you, like you pull out your sword and you don't have it, it's just a scabbard, that sort of stuff.
I mean, a problem player came up with that race.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it was from Tracy and Hickman. So I think it was from their gaming group. I think that's where the Dragonlance novels came from.
Everyone tells me I need to read those. Like a lot of the older gamers I know always say, "Oh, you should go read Dragonlance." I don't know.
I like the first 3 books. I didn't really get into a lot of the other ones.
Gotcha. Do you guys read a lot of D&D books, or?
I did when I
read
was
a
a
lot of
kid.
fantasy.
Yeah. So what would you guys recommend then, book-wise?
Oh, geez. How long is this thing going to be going on for?
As long as you got. All right, think of 5, and we'll come back to you.
I think you should try Menzo Berenzan trilogy series from R.A. Salvatore, just to have a foundation understanding of Drizzt.
Oh, yeah, I haven't read those. I should read those. I've been hearing good things about it, even though a lot of people hate Drizzt, or however you say his name, Drizzt. I've heard that the books are actually really good, really well written.
Yeah, with the Icewind Dale trilogy is pretty good.
Yeah.
That's actually the first trilogy that he did, and then he does a retcon in Menzo Berenzan. Yeah, I don't know. The Risland series is good too. I think that was just mentioned a little bit earlier.
What's it called?
It's like Autumn.
Dragons of Autumn Twilight or something. I can't think of what they all are right now.
Yeah, I think that's it. Just look up Risland.
All right.
Or Dragonlance. I mean, if you just type in Dragonlance, that should be the first name that comes up.
If you type in Dragonlance trilogy, they'll come up.
Yeah.
Okay. You might have to check those out. Go to the library for once. I haven't been in there since I was looking for a job and I didn't have the internet.
Read some stuff of Elminster. I don't know if you like Ed Greenwood, but that's
actually that's interesting. He's actually going to be at GrandCon this week, so they'll probably have that there. I can at least skim it over.
Oh, definitely take a photo with him. I'd love to see that.
Okay, I'll try. I'll take my video camera too. Maybe I can get him on my channel.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, you'll have a ton of views.
These days, Greenwood's looking like Elminster a little bit. When I saw him at Gen Con, his beard is unwieldy, man. It was down to his belly button almost.
That is epic. I can't imagine trying to grow my beard out that long. I can barely get past another ½ inch of this, and then I have to shave it.
This is about as long as my beard gets.
Well, I had that chin ferret for a while, and it looked like something died on my face, so I decided to start shaving it off.
Does yours grow in patches, Tim?
Oh, yeah, it's like someone shot hair follicles into my face with a shotgun. That's what it looks like when I try to grow it out. It looks
Me too.
Oh, whatever, Andrew. Look at you.
I look like a
12-year-old
boy trying to grow a beard.
The danger for me is...
Have you hit puberty yet? Yeah, I think so.
This beard, when it gets large, looks like an Amish beard. And living in a farming community,
nice.
I will sometimes get confused for being Amish, which is comical always.
Just carry your cell phone. Just pull your cell phone out, and then they'll know you're not Amish.
Yeah, I was at the gas station last fall around this time, and I was wearing a blue button-up shirt and some black khakis, and I went into the store and I came out, and a guy came up to me and was like, "You guys gonna be selling pies this year?" And I was like, "No, what are you talking about?" He goes, "You're Amish, right?" And I was like, "No, that's my truck over there, man."
This wasn't in Jackson, was it?
Yeah, it was in Horton,
okay.
township south of Jackson.
I was gonna say.
We have a little bit of Amish community, not too big.
My daughter's shushing me. I must be too
My
loud.
my grandmother on my mother's side is Pennsylvania Dutch, so I guess I have a little bit of that in me. So, but look at me, I'm using the internet, so I'm obviously a bad
Terrible.
bad Pennsylvania Dutcher, I guess.
Uh, just show them the games you play with the funny dice.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Get you disowned.
But yeah, I don't know. I've been messing around with 5e on the side. I have no idea when I'm going to get a chance to play it or run a campaign, but it gives me something to do when I got nothing else to do. I actually found an old campaign setting of mine that was on the shelf. This is from Iron Crown Enterprises called Cyrodiil, and it's like it's for like a post-apocalyptic fantasy Australia with all kinds of different races and stuff. So I've been messing around, looking at the 5e races and plucking special abilities out and plopping other ones in, mixing and matching until I think they fit. So that's what I've been doing on the side.
I think, when you got that book, didn't you get that and a few other books all at once?
Oh, it's been a while.
So I think
I got this when I was into high adventure role playing. It's another D100 game from Iron Crown Enterprises or ICE.
Okay. Are you still gonna run with your house rules that you posted on the brigade before you got scathed out of there?
Well, I don't know about that. But,
You need to run
yeah,
it raw first, Tim.
I'm thinking about running with a certain amount of house rules. I'm not really sure exactly what yet. Those are sort of my first flash in the pan gut reaction to 5e, and a little bit of my grognardish nature came out in those, I think. So.
It's funny because you were trying to make it more lethal, and I think the consensus is that this is the most lethal D&D they have yet.
Yeah, when I read it though, it really doesn't read like it's a lethal system at all. Like there's all these extra saves for dying, and there's all these hit points, and I don't know. But the spells are deadlier, and it sounds like the monsters are deadlier. So
right. I think the big thing is that the monsters are deadlier, and then obviously if something crits you in your first level, I mean you're pretty much dead. But I wonder, once you get to like third and fourth level, how deadly it really is. Once you start building up your hit points.
I guess. I also noticed that first and second level, they're not very hard. It's like it's supposed to be like a session each, and that just kind of like that rubs me the wrong way. Like, those are some of my favorite levels.
Because of the experience.
Yeah, the experience tables, and I looked at those and I'm like, what? That's crazy.
Right. If you look at some of the monsters, though, their experience that they give is less, too. And if you're using the D&D standard of XP, the thing that's going to suck is I like to give my players bonus XP for role-playing. And so now I'm going to be less inclined to do that, because if I do that, now you just jump 2 or 3 levels in one session.
True. I guess if you do a lot of role-playing and not a lot of hack and slash, then if you're only giving XP out for dead things, then I guess it might take a while to get there.
Somebody on my channel told me that Mike Merle said that veteran type characters in the new D&D would start out around level 3 instead of level 1. So like as a comparison to like 4th edition.
Yeah, because the idea is that you basically just got trained, and that's why you're at level 1 for the most part.
Yeah, you're like literally supposed to be green.
Yeah. I guess I just like those earlier fragile characters. I like when the challenges don't have to be that great. A small little thing can be dangerous. But like I said, I got my Grognard card in the mail. I'm gonna put it in my wallet. So.
Fighting large plague rats in Old McCready's cellar.
Right. Or you just run a campaign where the first 3 levels you give them really like puzzles that don't give much XP and no action. So like 7 sessions, each one is like this puzzle that takes them 45 minutes to figure out.
Dear God, no, man. That sounds like the Nazcraig game I played at Gen Con. the hour and a half puzzle that was in a tavern.
That's why I brought it up, because I thought it'd be funny.
Oh, dude, you're such a troll. I should have known.
Come on, you loved that game.
Oh, yeah. No, it's my favorite game to talk about right now just because of... it wasn't a bad game. There was just certain things about it that were crazy. But that's pretty standard fare for a con from what I've seen.
Well, I just can't believe he didn't give you any hints or tips. He just was like, oh, yeah, here's the puzzle. Figure it out. Okay, well, we want to go do something else. Nope, you can't.
Yeah, I actually got some like hostility from the DM a bit because I tried to. The puzzle revolved around this huge golden door, and the way we were supposed to open it, it turns out, is by deciphering labels on different alcoholic beverages found behind the bar, and then placing them in a certain order and reading them. Now, at a certain point, after 45 minutes of failing to figure out what we were supposed to do, I started trying escalated things to open this sucker. Like, I started like trying to use cheesy stuff like knock, and he's like, "That's not gonna open it." He's like, "We're gonna pile up all the booze and set it on fire." He's like, "You can't do that." Now I know because we needed the booze to open the door, but
He should
Oh,
have
is
just
this where
let
you played polo? Or
oh yeah. So that's another thing. You'll like this, Tim. The pre-gen for the character that I was given had me playing a sorcerer that was trapped in the body of a parrot.
That's a pretty sweet start for a character.
you just
Yeah,
needed wild magic to change to polymorph you out of it.
Yeah, the parrot could like fly and speak in English still, in common. He could fly around, speak, cast spells, but he looked like a parrot. And at the end of the game, we were supposed to recover these artifacts that would cure our various curses. We each had a different one, but for some reason, my artifact did not cure my curse. It allowed me to focus my energy to turn into a human temporarily, but then go back to being a parrot. So I was kind of like a weird human, oddly enough.
wow, that's really interesting. In one of my games, I had a character die unexpectedly, and it was one of my players' girlfriends, and it was her first time playing, and she got super upset really quick.
Oh no, he made her cry.
Well, the thing is that she had some kind of magic item, so I had her do a deal with the devil, and I had just introduced this talking bird, so she came back as the soul of this bird, and she was able to transform from bird into person. So that was it.
Wow, that's pretty awesome, I have to say. How'd she like that?
Oh, she fucking loved it. Then she could fly around and transform whenever she wanted to. Fucking whatever. I'll never do that again. Hey, what's going on, man? How are you?
What's happening, peoples?
Not too much.
Hey, David, how's it going?
Usually when I do this, their soul.
I'm sorry, what do you do?
I said whenever I offer a deal like that with a character, it always costs them their soul.
Oh no, it cost her soul as well. She was
Nice.
bound to the tiefling who, her infernal grandfather, his name was Dukan, who was like this lord of smoke. So yeah, it was all about turning this like good tiefling evil to become a warlock. So it furthered the plot at least, and it was kind of off the cuff.
That's like my favorite thing is picking a PC and trying to make them my greatest villain ever. Slowly.
Yeah, that's fun, definitely. I didn't realize it was a trope though.
Only in some games, some DMs, I think.
Okay. It's funny, some writers have little tropes. It's nice to know that some DMs do as well. I guess it's a running theme.
So I see some faces here I'm not familiar with, which is cool.
Okay. We'll just,
My
go
name's
down the
Philip.
line.
I don't know if you know that.
I think I might have just subscribed to you, Philip. The name seems kind of familiar.
Oh, and that's Tim, right?
Yeah, this is Tim, Samwise7RPG. Mm-hmm.
Hey, Tim. I know who you are. I've just never been on any hangouts with you. Cool. It's good
Yeah,
to
this
see
is
you
the
in
first
the
time.
virtual flesh.
I think this is first time for everybody here, actually.
Nice.
I don't think I've talked to any of you.
Yeah, you're a great promoter for the hobby, Tim. I just gotta say that. You're everywhere at once, bringing everybody in.
You're the reason
Yeah,
why I
I
know
guess.
Andrew and GM Juice.
Yeah, I know some people say that they follow my likes. Like I try to like a lot of videos, and then they'll go to my channel like, oh, who's this guy? He liked this video, and then they'll subscribe to him. Yeah, I try to share channels around if I find a new channel. So
Oh, Tim.
yeah,
I was actually unaware of your channel. Can you tell me what it is so I can check you out?
Yeah, if you type in Samwise, the number 7, and then RPG after the YouTube, my channel should pop up. Or just type it in there. I've been around for a while. I'm like a
Excellent. Thank you
turtle.
very
I just keep
much.
plodding along for years, you know.
So I just may have committed YouTube suicide.
Uh-oh.
You guys
What
can hear
happened?
about it here first.
Uh,
I just launched my response video to Spoonie in 5th edition.
Oh, that's not suicide.
I
That's called
don't know.
cheap
He's
heat.
got some ravenous fans and lots of them.
Yeah, that's called cheap heat. That's not suicide.
yeah, he's pretty popular.
Yeah, but his video was so... It was basically just like from skimming the book, and then he's like, this game sucks, it's so terrible. Ugh, and so many contradictions in this video.
I actually haven't seen it yet. Is it really crazy? Something
If you
I
have
got
2.5
Yeah,
hours
it's
to
amazing.
kill,
Hours of
go
your
watch
life.
him. Yeah, you'll never get those 2.5 hours back.
I like watching Spoonie. We're actually all Nerdarchy. We're big fans of Spoonie. We find him pretty entertaining. But I just felt like with this video, I was laughing at him instead of with him, like I normally do. But there's Leaping Wizards, Spoonie's Jihad, the Squirt Gun Wars. There's a lot of really good stuff, but all this stuff is very long.
I actually did like the video, but it got me pretty pissed off just because he's like dogging a game like that I'm starting to love, and there's some facts in it, but it's such a contradiction on what he says. Like he'll say, "Oh, it's too realistic in this part," and then, "Oh, it's not realistic enough," and just all over the place, man.
Well, hey, Juice, have you watched any of his other videos? He's kind of inflammatory.
I have.
When you
I've
go to
watched
Counter
a
Monkey's
few.
channel, when
Yeah.
you go to Counter Monkey's channel, you kind of know what you're going to get. He's going to kind of be an asshole to somebody. It's what he does. His fans expect it, and then you go through the comments and you see how his fans are. So
Yeah.
I wasn't disappointed. I was just on the wrong side of it this time. That's all.
Right. Yeah, it's one of those things, man. I don't know. I think I get bothered by people when they go to the negative on things in general, especially anything related to our hobby. I feel like I tend to want to stick up for the stuff, no matter what my actual beliefs are.
Well, I agree with you, but at the end of the day, he's a comedian, and that's what So he's just trying to be funny.
Yeah.
And I swear to God, in one of our early DMs, his mannerisms, the way he talks, or his philosophies, I think it's his clone. I'm not sure.
It's him.
Guys.
And he's more popular than you guys now.
Oh, absolutely. Well, yeah.
That's
Well,
him getting payback.
That was, you have 8th level characters, your character dies. All right, start over, 1st level.
What's wrong with that?
It was a great exercise in making characters because you got to do it a lot.
Right. Well, at least
There's
with
a
5th
domino
edition, it
effect.
only takes 15 to 20 minutes. Amber's Knight has joined us.
I think.
Welcome aboard.
Wow, there's a few people here.
What, you trying to say I don't have any friends?
Yeah.
Yeah, we were just talking about Spoonie or Counter Monkey's 5th edition video that's 2.5 hours, 2 parts.
Ah,
Have you
right.
seen that one?
No, as I won't be buying, nor have any interest in buying D&D 5th, I haven't bothered with it.
Gotcha. So what game are you playing right now? Or into?
There's a few. I'm running Dragon Age for a few friends. I'm playing a game of Fate Core. I'm involved in an online game on Google Hangouts of Advanced Fighting Fantasy, and we're about to start a Call of Cthulhu game as well.
Oh, cool.
Wow. That's a lot of gaming. I'm very envious. I'm in one game right now, so. and I'm the one
Oh,
running
Tim.
it.
Just join our one-shot group, Tim, and you'll be in a game every single day of the week.
Well, that's nice with freedom and free time, you know. I can't pull that off anymore.
Ninjas and Super Spies coming up, Tim.
I owned that game. I owned that game about, crikey, it must be about 15, 20 years ago I had a copy of that game.
Yeah, Robert
Never-
Ogre is going to be running it here on the 27th. So some of us are playing in it. I'm going to try and get into it. I signed up for it, and I told him I wouldn't be able to make it probably at the start time. But I'll probably play that. We just did Heroes Unlimited the other day with AJ Pickett. I'm supposed to run a Palladium Fantasy game sometime in either October or November. And then
I got to dig out my copy of Palladium Fantasy again.
there you go. Which one, do you have the original one where it's the black cover with the red, or do you have the revised
I did
edition?
have that one, but I lost it. A friend of mine got me the second edition.
Oh, okay, so you have the green dragon with the elf wizard guy. Yeah.
No, I did have. In fact, friend of mine, my friend Ralph, actually had the first edition, the original sort of first print run first edition for Palladium Fantasy.
Yeah, it was just called Palladium or something like that.
Yeah, right. Yeah, before they even called it, it was just the
Palladium RPG or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess there was an original before that where it was just like a stapled together chunk of papers that they used to take down to like a gaming thing down in Detroit, and that's the actual original of it. But
I've said the same thing about Palladium. I like the Palladium system.
Mhm.
I do enjoy it. I will play it quite happily. But Kevin Siembada really needs to be taken and shown how to properly put together a book in recognizable chapters rather than just throw hundreds of pages and just say, oh, the layout is terrible.
It's poorly organized. I definitely agree. By this point, I'm sure people have shown him, and it's just, he's stuck in his ways. I mean, he's a nice guy from my dealings with him, but yeah, he's stuck in his ways. It won't change. So you're kind of
some of his
wishing
players
for
find that to
something.
be part of his charm.
Just to clarify on a point, the reason I'm not going to buy D&D 5th is not because I have any sort of animosity towards D&D or anything like that.
Mhm.
I've got so many bloody fantasy games in print, let alone on PDF.
Well, stop slaying people over your books, and you won't get so much blood on them.
There's that. But I've got so many that fill pretty much every niche. Well, fills every niche that I would want. D&D 5th isn't giving me anything that I don't already have.
So you've downloaded the basic, have you?
No,
Oh, so you haven't looked over it at all.
no.
So how do you know?
Because all the other fantasy games that I've got cover everything.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I can understand that. For years, I was a Palladium Books only guy. I started in RPGs back, if you don't count Hero Quest, probably around 96. And it started with Heroes Unlimited. That's all I wanted to play. And then I didn't really dabble in any fantasy games till a few years back when my wife ran second edition for us. And then I decided I'd get into Palladium Fantasy because I preferred Palladium system over second edition D&D. And it just kind of spiraled into everything else. But yeah, people tried to talk me into trying different games for years. And obviously, Amber's Night, I know you play tons of games, so that's not a direct correlation there. But
Hello, John. Your camera's working.
Well, yeah, I'm on my phone, so yeah. I haven't tried to since all those updates yesterday. I haven't tried to get back on there, so.
Just to give a little context for that statement there, John was meant to be running Call of Cthulhu last night, but due to technical difficulties, he couldn't get online. He couldn't get into the Hangouts to actually run it.
Yeah, the same thing was happening to me that was happening to you, Tim, that one time that, like, it wasn't picking up my camera, and it just kept, like, booting me, and it wasn't picking up my camera or mic, even though both are built into the laptop itself, so it was very weird.
Yeah, we had some problems that one time. It cut our changeling game a little short. Our one shot that went for 4 sessions, he cut it short, you know.
Yeah. Cut our extended one-shot short.
Do you find that happens a lot? Not the negative side, but like when you run a one shot, it turns into more than one game.
I think people are, at least for me, I'm used to running, in the campaign style. So even when I'll have that short, concise thing, even I'll want to follow those side seeds and those backstories, and it's hard for me to say no to people and make it, within the parameters of the one shot.
Mm-hmm. Also, when I run a one shot, which I find more and more difficult these days, but when I run a one shot, something will happen during the game that I possibly wasn't expecting. A player will do something that will open up an avenue, and I'm like, no, we're going down there. I gotta go that way now, and the one shot just turns into a full adventure, and then that will spin off more, and it becomes a campaign, and before you know it, your one shot's 8 months down the line.
Well, maybe it's my convention experience, but there's times when you're at a convention where that's not an option. You got 4 hours, and if you don't get it done, tough. They're moving on to the next game at the next day. So you better get keep checking your watch or your cell phone and make sure you're pacing it correctly.
Yeah, I played a one shot. I ran a one shot last year at a gaming day. I ran Castle Falkenstein, which is my biggie, and that was tough to do that in 4 hours.
Mm-hmm.
I found that really, really, really tough. We got nowhere near the end of my adventure.
I think our game the other day, the Heroes Unlimited game with AJ Pickett, that was perfect for a one-shot. Like, it's not something I'd necessarily say, oh, man, I want to keep playing this, as a campaign. I mean, I would. It was perfect the way it was, and I had as much satisfaction I could probably get out of a Heroes Unlimited game. Do you agree, Dave? I know Dave played in that game.
Yeah, it was good. Besides, I can only blow so many things up with a rocket launcher. Anyway, after a while, it's just going to get old.
Well, yeah, you got that character. You were stuck with that character. I had a cool character.
Yeah.
I was able to do so much with my character. My guy was super speed, and then he also had psionics, so I could send like telepathic signals to the group and all sorts of cool things I was able to do.
So you could just be anywhere you wanted to be, and anywhere you couldn't be, you could just project your mind. That's awesome.
Oh, it was amazing. And then because I felt like I was doing a lot, I decided one of my power attacks that would take me out for 3 actions, I was like, all right, I'm going to tackle this mech warrior thing. So I ran full speed to tackle its leg and out for 3 rounds, and everybody else was able to clear the place. So it was perfect.
So no, I haven't watched any of these big long reviews on the newest incarnation of D&D. I haven't played D&D. I played AD&D First Edition last year. A friend of mine and her husband, they play AD&D First exclusively, except when I come down and I run something else for them. And they decided to do, what is it, the Tomb of Horrors? Is that the one it's called? It's one of these infamous dungeons that he's gotten a hold of the module for. So we for 3 days, well, 3 evenings, we were hacking into. We were going through this temple, and the only thing I can honestly say is we didn't defeat anything. At the end of the 3rd day, we found our way out, so we can honestly say we went in there and we survived. That's our claim to fame. We didn't actually get very far, and we didn't actually take very much, but we got out of there alive.
That's an impressive feat. That place is lethal, man.
Oh
I've
God,
sacrificed a few characters to that.
we were yeah. As I say, I think we got about maybe 6 rooms in. We were like, nope. Survival of the fittest. See who runs out the door first.
Has anyone had any negative experiences with character death, either for any of your characters or for any players that you've seen? Because a lot of people are kind of weird about it. They seem very, and understandably so, they're very hesitant and very untrusting that it could be fun. But I don't know. I haven't had any bad experiences or really players taking it the wrong way.
I'm all for character
Does it
death,
make
so
it
yeah,
come up
kill them
right now?
all.
I think it can depend on the circumstance. I've sort of told this story before. We were doing Falkenstein. I was running Falkenstein, and all the player characters were in the south of Poland. And one of them considered himself an archmage. He wasn't anything of the sort, but he considered himself an archmage. So he decided, I've got a great idea, guys. I'll teleport us all into Warsaw, which is where they were heading. And they were like, no, because magic in this, they knew that magic was very, 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 it's not as, it can be very, very lethal and unpredictable. So they went, no, we'll get there the hard way. But he decided he was going to teleport them anyway. And cut a long story short, the spell wildfired. So he ended up transporting not only them, but the entire little town that they were in into the center of Warsaw and devastated most of the middle of Warsaw. At the end of it, having placed them in a deadly position where they could easily have died, at the end of the adventure, they killed the character. They actually executed him on the spot. They just went up with him with their guns and blew his brains out. It's the only PvP I've ever seen in an RPG. And that particular player didn't take that very well. For some reason.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Well, if they start crying, tell them to go give their mother a hug. You know. Go find your mommy and give her a big hug, and she can wipe your tears away. You know.
Yeah, I remember the first character that I haven't even killed off that many, but I always have. All my players think that I'm like the most hardcore GM ever, but in reality, I just make them think that. But the first character I ever killed I was running a Cthulhu scenario, and Cthulhu's the only thing where I actually like sort of work. You know, you feel like you're on the rails and things are sort of unstoppable no matter what you do. It doesn't work well for most games, but for Cthulhu, I think it works well. So anyways, of course, when you're reading a Cthulhu thing, it says explicitly, if they do this, then they get ripped apart, or then this alien impregnates them and they slowly begin to die as it hatches out of their body, and all this horrific stuff. And I remember it was the end of this session, and so many people had come so close to dying, but all of them made their rolls just by a hair. But then at the end, the priest ended up having to sacrifice himself to save everyone else, and he just got ripped limb from limb. And that was the first time I ever killed a character, and there was just a few minutes of sort of awkward silence around the table, and then everyone was just like, "This is awesome. We should do this more."
I'm not big on character deaths. It depends on the kind of game I'm running. If I'm running a horror game, then quite frankly, they've got it coming. Is my view on character deaths in horror.
I haven't had a lot of character deaths in my games. My first session with Pathfinder for this current campaign we almost killed our cleric. Very last battle, and like right before the end of the combat, he got stabbed, and I think it was a critical hit. And so he took damage and should have died, but I kind of let them say that they stabilized him, but he should have been dead. But yeah, that's really I haven't killed a lot of characters in my games either, but I don't really fudge the rolls, so it's just kind of that I must make weak encounters, I guess.
Do you roll your rolls in front of your players, or do you do them behind the screen?
I do them behind the screen, but
I do them
yeah,
in front of my players, so there's no question.
right.
Yeah, right out on the table
do
for
I.
everybody to see.
There
That's
you
what I
go.
do. That's the way I do it anyway.
Well, I
didn't
always
like
have my
nothing. There
screen
you go.
in my
I roll a
lap.
2 or I roll a 17, whatever it is, you know.
I have my end of the table with the screen, and then I have the laptop right next to it. So if I was like gonna roll it in front of the players, I'd have to reach over everything to do it like that. So that's the only reason I don't.
How do you guys feel about technology at the table?
I only use it for music.
Yeah, I think it's really good for that, actually. Like thunderstorms and like meadows and creeks. I love that. Like a little
Yeah.
background noise, not necessarily music per se, but
I was using Rivendell radio turned down really low, and I noticed certain tracks were louder than others. So I'm trying to find something else. I saw that somebody had shared something recently that's supposedly pretty good, so I'm going to check that out before my next session. But if I don't think it's any good, I'm probably just going to go away with any of that at the table.
didn't Matty Click put down like some type of playlist he had on Spotify, I think?
Oh, maybe. I didn't see that one.
Yeah, you might want to check that out. He has like this whole like 100-page thing or something on there, I think.
It's like Enya or something.
I know. I think it's all labeled, so like situation appropriate kind of stuff. I don't know.
Right.
I roll behind the screen, and there's still no question. People don't like that. Well, I like playing too. So,
Yeah, I think it can kind of depend on the genre too. Generally,
That's
I like to do it out in the open for things like maybe D&D or things where you want a sense of of great atmosphere, or like you're just sort of a fly on the rock. You don't have a whole lot of power. But then for games like if I was running a sort of a spy sort of a game where I'd want to invoke a lot of paranoia, then I would be rolling behind the screen, and I'm even the sort of GM that I'll arbitrarily just to make the players think that, oh crap, what's going on sometimes. So I don't know, I do it psychologically a little bit.
There's also the factor that everybody at my table needs to accept that it's okay not to see my rolls, because sometimes I might be fudging them in their favor. Because I too don't like non-thematic player deaths. I like my heroes to die when it's important, not because a kobold got a lucky backstab or something.
Well, I think that
rolls
brings
to
up a
make it more
really important issue there, because you should be having your combat. You shouldn't be having random encounters. You ought to be having encounters that are situation appropriate, that are moving the plot forward. At least in my opinion. You can run your game however you like, but that way, if there is a character death, it isn't something arbitrary.
And one thing, I was actually thinking about making a video of it. I think I've never done it, but I think that if you have a character that dies very, not thematically, doesn't matter, I think that you can not necessarily retcon, but I think that you could still have some flashbacks and still maybe introduce their father or their brother and still sort of blow that character out a little bit. I'm not saying devote a session to it or anything, but I think you could make a not cool death cool, or you could still make that character cool posthumously. I've never done it myself, but I think it's doable.
That's a good idea.
We just had a arbitrary character death our last session, and I don't know. Sometimes life's arbitrary.
It's true.
Harsh.
Yeah.
It's just
I'm just gonna say, go kobolds.
if you let your dice fall where they may, any planned encounter could turn into something unexpected, and that's good because that's part of the game.
I
Yeah.
actually have a good story with that. It's probably going back like 20 years when we were gaming, and I generally did roll the dice behind the screen. But one night I got cocky, and I'm like, this monster needs like a 4 on the saving throw. And it was 3rd edition, so it was Template Madness with a Hydra. And the thing was ginormous and just stepped over the city wall. And one of my players was kind of cocky and was probably about to bite it. But another player had a scroll of Flesh to Stone. Wasn't high enough to cast it. He had to make a check just to cast it. And, it was like a half dragon, half fiendish pyro hydra that needed like a 4 on the saving throw. Or a 5 or something ridiculous. So I rolled it on the table in front of everyone and I dropped one number under what I needed. And instant statue in the center of the city. and it was great because now the players still talk about that encounter.
Well, I would too if I walked by it every day. Like, hey, look, guys, it's that statue.
I was running Horde of the Dragon Queen, and for my players, they're a little bit higher level than they're supposed to be for everything, and I don't feel like juicing it up. I figure I'll just stretch their rewards a little bit out. They can level up when it's appropriate later on. But there's this scene where the dragon swipes by, and all of a sudden they're throwing these crazy stuff on it. And I'm sitting there looking at this. I'm like, this thing's 15,000 experience points. These losers are not getting this. And I was like, oh, I don't need to worry. It's got 200 plus hit points. They're not going to throw that. And their sorcerer steps out and starts flinging fireballs at him with a wand of fireballs. And I'm like, that's not going to be a big deal. He's going to blow his save out of the water. And I drop a 1. And I'm like, I don't want this thing taking full damage. What the hell? And I'm sitting there flipping through. So I guess the moral of the story is I'm really glad that dragons have legendary save 3 times per day now. It's like,
That's great.
The dragon leaves. Screw you guys. You're doing too well.
Well, that's what's great about 5e. You don't have to worry about that anymore.
Yeah.
For characters' deaths in 5e, you have this option to incapacitate if you don't necessarily want to have a death be arbitrary.
They do a lot of things with 5e, like, hey, you can house rule this now. It's like, you could always house rule that if you wanted.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
You can rule however you want. But now 5e tells you can, and people are so excited about it.
Yeah, but with Pathfinder and 3rd edition, I think you almost have to go back to telling people you can do that because the rules were so laid out and there was a rule for freaking everything. If your character wanted to go take a dump, there was a rule in that book somewhere for it.
Really? I gotta go find that one.
Yeah, keep looking for it. You'll find it.
Now watch your roll.
While you're in the bushes, some orcs attack your party. Roll to
Hang on.
finish it off.
I'm gonna roll for stealth poop check.
I mean, what is it about someone saying something in a book explicitly that gives people permission? I don't follow rules in my own life, let alone because a piece of paper tells me to.
I failed my roll.
I don't get it.
No, I've always house ruled wherever I wanted to, or wherever I felt that it was fair.
Yes.
I try to avoid deviating from the rules because they do provide a boundary to kind of keep my unbelievable power behind the screen with my secret roles and my hidden campaign notes
The
in check.
problem you run
And
into with
I
house
need
rules.
that because I have an ego problem.
I'm all for house rules.
That 'cause I have an ego
I'm a house rules cheerleader. I always will be. Do it yourself. If you think something's weird, make it make more sense to you in your campaign, your group. Don't be afraid to change things.
Yeah, but try to be consistent with your rules.
Yes,
there's where it's at, because I've found I'm fine with house rules too. I've made house rules. I rule on the spot if I don't know a rule, whatever. I just try to keep the pace going. And in my 2nd edition game, we ran into things where it wasn't consistent. And I'm fine with someone house ruling something, but when it's not clear what I can and can't do all the time because it keeps changing, it can be very frustrating. And then it leads to side conversations like, well, last time I was able to do this. And it doesn't matter what happened last time because he said, no, you can't do that this time. But it happened a lot, and I wasn't the only player having problems with it.
Yeah.
So you gotta
just have to write them down. That's all.
Yeah.
You gotta write them down. Keep them. Whenever you make a ruling, just jot it down or
Exactly.
have house rules before campaign even starts. That way everyone
Precedent
doesn't
is-
get the rug tugged out from under them.
Yep, I completely agree.
I think also being honest with your players, coming in on the 2nd or 3rd, or maybe even the 20th session, and being like, hey guys, in retrospect, I realized that this maybe wasn't the best call, and maybe we could do this instead. And then, get them to verbalize if they're cool with that. Generally, they will be, because they'll understand that you're human.
I think if you play it honest, you're going to come across as very smart. I think it's a really good thing.
Mm-hmm.
When you guys GM, do you monitor your PC's hit points, or do you try to remain conscious of that, or do you just sort of play and let them tell you if they feel the need to tell you?
I've tried to monitor it, but I always find myself forgetting to write something down. So I've quit trying.
I typically let them keep. They don't need to really tell me about the hit points. I typically know whenever they drop below a certain part, simply because of the look on their face, or simply because I rolled a high enough number. All right, I know you're not getting up after this.
I'm generally just like, I have so many numbers to keep track of back here. You guys can take care of your own hit points. That's not. Maybe that's me being lazy, but I don't know. I'm keeping track of all their other resources. They can keep track of the little number that lets me know whether they're still alive.
Yeah.
Well, I feel super bureaucratic because I just keep a copy of each character sheet with me, so I can check and see the equipment they have, their hit points they have, their passive perception, their AC.
I do try to do that, but I have players who fail to give me their character sheet every time.
Well, that's a foolish consistency. Just tell them.
I try. There's like 2 players always, no matter what game I'm running, whether it's online or whatever. I always fail to get about 2 of the 5 or 2 of the 6 players not giving me an updated character sheet.
Well, online it should be super easy. You just send an email, even if you have your phone, your character sheet's on your phone. You send it.
You could also send PDFs.
Have you met any gamers recently?
Excuse me?
Have you met any gamers recently?
I have now, yes. Thank you. I do appreciate that.
It's like hard and fast.
A guy in my home group, and every system that we play, every single character at some point in the campaign, probably multiple points, gets down to 1 hit point. And I never monitor it, but he just starts laughing really hard at the table, and every time we know, it's like, oh, yep, Will's down to 1 hit point. It can breed good stories, I think, too. Yeah.
It's more fun when you drop someone every now and then, too, because then they feel like there's a sense of danger.
Oh, yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
At that point, you're really happy if somebody decided to play the cleric, or somebody wanted to shell out the extra couple gold for the healer's kit.
Oh yeah, you should definitely do that.
For 5th edition, yeah.
I've played 4 sessions and I've been dropped 3 times.
Man,
You've had 3 and 4 sessions of 5e, Dave?
Yeah.
Now, me, Dave, and
I didn't actually go down.
Dave, and Fox played.
That sounds like me running a Labyrinth Forward or Lamentations of the Flame Princess campaign. That's pretty deadly.
We played in a David Sem's live game the other day, and we didn't have any problems at all. It was pretty non-lethal, actually.
I watched that game. It was good.
I haven't watched it yet. It's on my watch later.
Unusually quiet in that one. I think it's because we had 6 players, and I didn't want to interrupt people that I was playing with for the first time. It was a lot of fun.
Always the second time.
It was a good game. I enjoyed myself. I just like, whatever. My elf is a little bit aloof, whatever.
I find that a lot with your characters,
Fox.
What's that?
I find that a lot with your characters is when you start a group with people you haven't played before, you're rather taking a back seat, you're holding back all the one-liners. And then after like the second or third game, the one-liners come out in full force.
Part of it's getting to know people around me and giving them a chance to acclimate to me before I start driving them crazy with puns.
If you watch his channel, you'll know he's good at driving his groups completely batshit crazy. Especially the Gen Con loot video. Oh my gosh.
They were really mean to me in that. I had to cut out a bunch of stuff. I was like, no, this makes them look too mean.
It was like butt donkey or something. You had
butt
to keep
magnet.
saying. Yeah, butt magnet. You're just like, all right, guys, we're gonna say butt magnet.
I want a chorus of it.
Oh, jeez. That was awesome. I liked that video.
They should have done it in the way of a choir, though.
That's what I wanted.
His group doesn't go with his jokes very often.
No, they're all the wettest of blankets.
They're so serious.
That scene
They were
from
tired.
Dave's
They
game.
were all very tired that day.
That scene from Dave's game, Fox, where you were in the bush, was absolutely gold. One of the funniest things I've seen in a while.
Which one? What, the one in the bush? What bit was that?
With the children when you were spying on the...
when I was hiding behind the boxes on the those damn kids.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure how that was gonna go. I was like, I don't want this guy to know that we're on to him, but the stupid kids won't go away. Take the
That whole
gold.
scene was done really nice from both sides.
I was a big fan of everybody's character in that. There was a lot of good stuff.
Yeah, Dave runs a really good game, too. I was impressed with it. That's my first game playing with him, so...
Yeah.
I think he was one of my first 30 subscribers on my channel. And he used to comment all the time, and he just kind of quit commenting one day.
Yeah, it's same here. I actually joined that game initially. I was like, I gotta get in this because this cat commented all over my videos way back in our early days, even before we were very good at it.
You think you're good at it now? I'm just kidding. You know I love your channel. I think it's very entertaining.
Hey, so Philip put up his first video. Was it yesterday?
It's something like that, yeah. I have up 2 videos now.
Oh, you've got 2 up. I missed the first one. I gotta go watch that.
You did. You commented on the first one. It's in medias res about how to start your campaign directly in the midst of some high-tension shit.
Oh, so you've done another one since then.
Yeah, it's about how you role-play combat in your game, and how it can be a bit challenging beyond the scope of making character comments like jabs at the monsters, making fun of them, a la Spider-Man, or merely describing the actions that your characters are doing. I was trying to encourage people to enter into the psychology of their character, perhaps by saying what actually resonates with them. Like you see a gory scene, perhaps you see some white butterflies fly across the blood, and this kind of captures your imagination and kind of highlights the gore because it'll add a little bit of contrast, like these small, beautiful white butterflies, the death everywhere, and I was trying to encourage people to relate their backstories when they engage in combat, or try to do that type of thing. But how do you guys do it? Don't let me talk over you.
I think I'm gonna go watch that video right after this. That sounds awesome.
Oh well, that was basically the entire video, so you are not losing anything. I believe in the short and sweet philosophy of about 2 minutes, 3 minutes max on a video. I saw a thing on Minute Physics that said statistics show that your audience are going to have this long of a time span to watch something. So especially as a new person who's doing stuff, I want to keep it short, concise, and helpful, and not bog them down with a lot of my thoughts. So that's about it.
There's a lot of merit to that. For me personally, though, I find myself listening to like people in the RPG Brigade when I'm out walking my dogs, or sometimes when I'm driving around. So I'll specifically look for videos that are a bit longer, so I can just put my phone down for a while, or put it in my pocket or whatever.
That's usually when I listen to campaigns. So yeah.
Yes.
I was trying to watch the rest of the Crimson Tigers campaign today, and I fell asleep in my chair right here. I need to get better at staying focused, because I sit here and I'm like, all right, I'm listening to it, and I'll try to work, but if I work, I won't hear anything. If I actually try and sit back and listen to it,
Well, are any of the characters very memorable for you in the Crimson Tigers?
Oh, I love it. I think Matt Click does a great job. I really Matt Click steals the show in my opinion on that one. But I like it. Yeah, I think it's pretty good.
Okay, cool. Do you remember the part where they were fighting the Centaur?
That must be the third video. Is that the third video?
I'm not sure.
Because that's the one I fell asleep in today.
Yeah.
I've watched I've watched the first two, no problem. I actually worked out while listening to them, and then this one, yeah. My daughter. Yeah, my daughter actually. I woke up and I was like, "Oh, it's really quiet in my house." And I went and looked for her, and I couldn't find her anywhere. I was freaking out. She has like this little. Thanks, Tim. She has this little tiny castle that she went into and fell asleep in. And I thought she was like outside or something. Oh, what a heart attack.
Yeah, you don't lose the kids. You'll never hear the end of it. I know from experience.
No.
Lose one kid one time. Come on.
You can always replace them and have another.
We can
right?
always have more.
That's what I say.
That's funny. Yeah, we find out if our second is going to be a boy or a girl on Halloween, so
Ooh,
pretty
that's
excited about that.
You have one coming too, Juice. That's cool. I didn't know.
Yeah, due in March. Hoping for a boy.
If it's on Halloween, does that mean you get the additional parts of witch and warlock? Like, I want it to be a boy, I want it to be a girl, I want it to be a warlock.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna find out. That's what mine's due right around Halloween. So.
Oh,
see,
awesome!
That, it comes
Congratulations.
out with horns or something. I know I'm in trouble.
That's awesome.
Thanks.
My player WASD20, Nate, you guys probably see him in the brigade pretty often. His wife is due here in October as well, so we might put our in-person game on hold while that all sorts itself out.
So you know what you
will
gotta.
play in the delivery
Yeah,
room.
That's weak, Juice. I was gaming the night one of my children were born. I forget which one.
What?
Oh, hon, you're having a baby? Wait,
And
I
went
had plans to play D&D tonight. I'll meet you at the hospital.
Or you
That's
play-
consider it on her part. She could have held it for a little while, you know.
We could always have more babies. The Dark Lich Garaloth only comes once a year.
Amen.
Be right back, guys.
Oh man, I was gonna tell him that Halloween he has to ask the doctor if it's a boy or a ghoul.
Oh my god. Too bad.
Oh man.
That's why the first session with me is missing.
That's so bad.
Either that or the baby's born and he's like, honey, trick or treat. Holding it.
It's got a little pumpkin. The doctor's has got a pumpkin basket to catch it. There we go.
Yeah, I'm having this problem right now where I'm trying to balance out fatherhood, parenthood, working on my old house, and gaming. Trying to make sure I keep gaming in my life in some aspect. It's been kind of tough though. The scales are definitely leaning.
That's actually funny you mentioned. That's why I actually started Nerdarchy and started the YouTube channel and the website and everything, because I had to force myself back into the hobby somehow because I was really getting disconnected, and that you start to miss it. You start jonesing.
Yeah.
That's kind of what had happened with me in college. I was just like, I was so freaking busy, but I was like, I miss role playing. And then I saw Main Man's plug for the brigade, and I was just like, hello, Salvation.
So now I feel like
it's a nice outlet, you know.
I feel like I perpetuated the greatest scam of all time now, because I guess the game I was in on Sunday, I wasn't originally going to play because I've been playing a lot. I'm like, guys, I can't. My wife is going to effing kill me. And so I guess I had mentioned to it in passing, and she's like, well, it's kind of like your job now. So that's all right. I'll probably just be watching football anyway. So now gaming is part of my job.
That's great. I wish I could design games for a living. That would be fantastic. I would love to do that.
There's nothing stopping you.
At least it's something.
Well, I guess ability, but beyond that.
I bet you have the ability.
There's plenty of big games out there, so you could definitely be a designer either way.
To an extent, I have gaming as part of my setup as well. There's a a residential home near where I live that I volunteer there on 2 afternoons a week, and I bring board games and so on, and I bring them down there. So I'm pretty much running games for 2 afternoons of a week.
Oh, that's lovely.
That's cool, man.
Finally got my wife on board with me doing this more often. So we're gonna turn. I told her it's for my real estate job.
More
so
often, don't you do like 4 or 5 videos a day or something?
Yeah.
Who, me? Who, me?
You're
Yeah.
prolific.
I'm just going to film my life from now on, and I will just talk about gaming.
No, I do all my films in one day, and then I release them over 2 weeks. So right now, actually, I have. Let's see. I'm just gonna pull it up. I think I have.
763.
I probably do. No, I have about 6 videos sitting there in a folder right now that I filmed the other day.
Come on,
Wow.
Juice, give us a sneak peek, man.
Oh, you want a sneak peek? All right. Screen share.
Slowly.
Let's see.
Anyway, you put out a video like what, once a day?
I try to.
Pretty impressive.
I was gonna say it's pretty prolific, especially compared to us. We get a video out like once a month if we're on schedule.
That's
Amen
currently
to that.
my queue right there.
But you guys do a lot
But
of
most of
producing
those
on your
probably won't
videos.
come out.
What's that, Dave?
You do a lot of producing on your videos and a lot of editing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes a huge difference. I
It
mean,
does.
my crew is always like, edit this and edit that, and I'm like, I don't think so. We roll with it the way it is.
Oh, Andrew, I wanted to ask you, do you use a script, or do you just go on the fly?
I
Scripted.
go on the fly, and I fuck up a lot. So, like,
really?
I'll actually just retape it if I mess up. So sometimes, like, a 10-minute video is actually me sitting there for 40 minutes banging
Oh.
it.
I'm the same. I never use a script. It's straight out one take.
Mine's scripted. I even write the ums in the script.
Yeah, I was going to say, because there's a mitigated speech, and I never hear you really have
Nope,
any type of
pause.
or whatever. So.
Mine are all.
I've got so many of those. I sound like a buffoon on the air. It's ridiculous.
Me too.
You guys don't even do bulletin
hey,
points?
I think I'm going to talk about
I
this.
do. I do bullet point.
That
for
makes
sure.
sense.
Like, right here, I had some. Let's see what we got. I had, like, those 5 written on. I don't know if you can see that very well.
No, not at all.
But yeah, I'll
I
just
can
use a
see a white
number.
piece of paper.
I'll just use like a numbered list or bullet points of the major topics, but I'll never do like actual verbatim script.
Hey, Juice put his kid on the phone, so everybody just wave and say hi.
Hello.
Hey.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
Hello.
Say hello. No? Okay.
This is new and different. Here we go. I script heavily. Like everything we do is scripted. I'm always trying to get people to do things off script, and
Right.
like what's an example? J Random, for example. I'm like, let's do this thing, and it'll all be ad libbed, and we'll just we'll make jokes, and it'll be like a let's play. And he's like, I'd really rather not do that. I'd rather not sound like a fool. Just let's get a script, and I'll do it. I'm like.
Sound like a fool. That's
The
my
audible
special-
sigh.
So are you guys that entertaining without the script, Fox?
I don't know. I try to be. What I love about being with that's the one thing I like about the Hangout games is I get to try jokes on the fly, and sometimes it's just crickets. Sometimes it's just the silence at the table, and
I think that happened last game.
yeah, it did.
There's nothing worse than you say a joke that you think is an absolute zinger, and the one line comes out and there's just nothing.
It's all part of being alive, entertaining live.
Well, if you think about it, if you were to
can't all be
take all your
winners.
jokes at your own table and put them out there, most people aren't going to laugh. We're not that funny.
Well, I don't know. I'm not going to speak for myself because I'm not. But my friend Murray, his ability to come out with just the most insane little things. We played a game of Pendragon years ago, and he decided that his affectation for his character was that the visor of his helmet would never stay up. So whenever he put the visor up to say hello, it would immediately fall back down again. And, you know, it was complete sort of Monty Python, to the point where he got a large coffee mug, and whenever he was speaking, he would actually so you would get the echo of his helmet with the voice coming out. He spent, you know, hello, and it just he spent the entire game with his face in a coffee mug. He was just insane.
I'd be like, dude, I can't hear you. Move that coffee mug.
But yeah, just I'm seeing about Halloween there. I'm going to be running a one-shot, and it's looking like it's going to be close to Halloween when I do it as well, because it's going to be a horror game.
Are you doing it in person?
No, it looks like it's going to be on Hangout. So it might be coming to a YouTube channel near you soon.
Okay. Do you already have your players for it?
I've got a couple of them. I'll see.
Because that would have been perfect for that one-shot group. Could have been like, hey guys, I got this one-shot for Halloween. You guys want to play? And then people would have been like, oh, I do. And then you'd have had 30 people in your game.
The thing is, as I said before, my one-shots tend to go on and 8 months later.
That's fine. I think I've got a 5e game that's going to be at least a 2 or 3-parter. And I think a couple other people have had the same experience where, you know, one shot's turning into more than one game, which is completely fine.
Yeah, I can't remember the last time, other than that little Castle Falkenstein thing that I did for that gaming day. That's the only time I've set out to actually write a one shot, and even then, as I say, we never got anywhere near halfway through the scenario.
See you, Tim.
Those was up. Now I'm like, really? I thought I'd written this really
Later,
small
Tim.
scenario.
Tim bounced.
Tim has gone.
So that was Tim Harper.
Yes. You didn't know who Tim Harper was either?
I've never met the guy.
Oh. Yeah.
No, he's in the faction of the Harpers, yes?
The faction of the Harpers. What? Whoosh.
Oh, you haven't ran factions?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Oh, look in the back of your player's handbook, and you'll have like a little section on factions, and Harper's is one of them, like a Harper agent.
Really? I know there's in the basic. I saw it for the it's for encounters though, right? All the different factions.
I mean, you can run it however you want to, but yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that was in there.
I didn't realize it was in here. Is it before the monsters?
Maybe I just thought it was in here because
It's in the basic. It's in the basic for sure.
Is it not in the
no
PHB?
No, because you have deities as Appendix B.
What an oversight!
As C. I don't think it's an oversight. I think it's the idea. Most people that are going to play in, you know, your encounters groups are only going to have the basic probably. So I think that's why. You know.
Fair enough. Here I am, just talking out my ass.
No, you're okay. I read it today. I saw what you're. I know exactly what you're talking about, but I haven't. I mean, I didn't read the names of them, but yeah, it's definitely in the basic. I know that because I got reamed out today. I said, hey, when are they going to put the monsters in the basic PDF? They're like, they've already done it. It's not in the basic PDF though. It's in the monster and DM PDF, and I was like, there's my problem. I don't have that, so I had to go get that.
I'm thinking of posting for a one-shot in the one-shot group for 5th edition now.
Yeah, are you gonna run a game tonight? Or,
Okay.
Or when are you gonna run it?
No, I'm trying to figure that out, working with my schedule and stuff like that. Preferably, I'm
gotcha.
going to try and do it over the holiday.
What holiday?
Yeah, I'm
Either
actually kind of excited about running a meat grinder in the one-shot group coming up here soon.
Ooh.
No, thank you. It gets tiring playing epic deaths after epic death.
Well, you only have to do it for 2 minutes.
Yeah, I'm ready, Philip. Bring on the meat grinder.
I'm in.
What's that?
I said I'm ready, man. Bring on the meat grinder.
Sounds like a plan. Hey guys, I got a question for you.
Yes, of course.
I just actually had a comment about 5e on my YouTube channel from a subscriber. The ritual caster feat. He's a wizard. If he takes it, he wants to know about learning rituals from the druid, and he's taking that as his ritual casting. You guys have any feedback on that one?
I believe you can learn rituals, definitely. But let me go ahead and check out.
He's learning it from the druid in the party, though, so he's going to be able to cast the druid spells also. Is that your question?
I believe my friend Andrew just talked about some of this downtime stuff. Maybe he has a clue about what's going on with that.
So here, maybe I didn't word it clearly because that's usually how I am. But so he's a wizard. As a wizard has the ritual. He's a ritual caster. But he, in addition to that, took the ritual caster feat and chose druid as the ritual casting class to take spells from. Now there's a druid in the party, so he wants to now add rituals to his ritual book from the druid spell list.
Yes, that sounds good.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, that sounds perfectly legitimate.
So what I told him is I would allow it, but at whatever the normal cost is for recording spells into a ritual book.
No, it should be a diminished price, is it not? Just as if you found a like some kind of scroll and it had a ritual, you could learn from that scroll as well.
Yeah, I would think so. You'd be able to record it into the ritual book I would suspect at the normal cost for transcribing a spell.
No, it's a diminished cost because you don't have to keep trying it out as you're going along.
Oh,
I could be talking on my ass there. So.
It has a breakdown for rituals, how much they cost, but the whole point of getting a ritual is because it takes 10 minutes to prepare, but after you inscribe it as a ritual in your spell book, it now is free to cast, and it lasts oh so long, if it has a duration.
It says right here that it takes 2 hours per level and costs 50 gold per level. So that's basically it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's basically my response was. I would definitely want there to be a cost so that they can't just fill his bulk with druid spells.
Yeah, but it should cost them something like significant, like a finger.
Yeah, something. Well, because
either that or they have to find a very special paper because of the type of magic that a druid uses.
It's actually wizards are the best ritual casters because all they have to do is flip through their book and cast a spell. Where if you're a divine caster, you actually have to have it prepared in order to cast it as a ritual.
Well, a ritual caster's, correct me if I'm wrong, but it takes a few minutes to cast that spell, does it not? Like 10 minutes. It's not necessarily something you can do in combat.
Yeah, rituals are 10 minutes. So it's completely unusable in combat, or something like mage armor. Making it a ritual is actually one of the best things you can do with mage armor. Since you now have infinite castings of that without using up a spell component, it lasts
for 8 hours.
It lasts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very wise.
But that one's not a ritual spell, right?
I have no idea.
You can make it one with the ritual feat.
You can make any spell into a ritual with a ritual feat?
Have the ritual tag.
Yeah, I think so. I think Dave is right there.
Oh, maybe they changed that. I'll have to check that.
I would crush my player with the Munchkin Hammer for even attempting that. The gods would be offended by that statement, I think, in my campaign world. Mage armor is a ritual? Forget it out.
Oh, hell no, you didn't.
Crickets. Chirp, chirp. The flow of the Google Hangouts is a little weird. You got everyone talking, and all of a sudden it's just silence.
Oh, I was actually reading.
Well, that and we're all role players, so switching between personalities is not that difficult for us.
Philip had a really funny comment on that Adventure Downtime video, because I was looking at it like all optimistic, like, oh, you can do all these meaningful things with your time. And then Philip comes along and he's like, yeah, but you could also, like suffer all this bad stuff, lose skills, basically, have like the Odysseus like suitor syndrome where you're sitting around eating grapes falling out of all your proficiencies.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you think about it, you hear a lot about our soldiers when they come back from combat. A lot of them, like, they don't know how to reintegrate into society, so they have detriment. So I was kind of taking that take with it, and also I kind of like the idea of my character being a gambler and racking up huge debts, and there being people after him, and that's why he comes back to the party to adventuring for protection.
Yeah, you show up after a year stint looking like shit. Like you have like you're no longer clean shaven. Debtors are coming after you.
Exactly. And so when you have an encounter later on in the road and some highwaymen try to jump you, you can role play that backstory.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I could see some of my players doing that.
Yeah, but it would also be cool to, like you were saying, to have little forts that you could build up on your downtime.
Yeah, like I like that idea of settlements, especially if later on they're going to be getting into keeps, castles, and other stuff. Let them start doing like steps along the way instead of going straight to, full-blown siege warfare and buildings. Let them have like a small town that they're protecting that they build and bring people to, or other stuff like that.
You know, I'm notorious for giving my characters really cool things like that at very low levels, just so I can build them up a little bit and then dash them as I take it away. That's just my movie.
No, I like doing that too. It's fun. It's fun to give them stuff for a bounded period of time. Know that it's not a blank check.
Yes, and it also helps to define the party and gives them a sense of cohesion, or maybe that's what helps define their group. Maybe it's this magic item. Maybe it's the place where they reside. Maybe it's how they get their adventuring name. So that's why I tend to be a little loose with those types of things.
Yeah, I definitely see where that could be good. What do you guys think about letting people learn like weapon proficiencies, armor proficiencies, and all that sort of thing during downtime? You think that's legit if there's a long enough period it has to take and there's some kind of cost involved?
Would you let a wizard do it?
It shouldn't be that hard to learn how to do armor. I just think the heavier the armor, the more difficult and the longer time it would take. Because really all it is knowing how to properly put wear and how to properly buckle it in. And then move in it.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I was actually laughing thinking about it when you were talking about like the different experts and like the armor expert. I just envisioned my wizard character in the campaign wandering the countryside looking for that armor expert. But no, I actually like some of that. Like, if I would like, for instance, like the weapon proficiencies, I would break them down into individual weapons. And it takes 250 days and 250 gold, so it's not like it's going to happen overnight. I mean, the way our campaigns go, I don't know, but it might just be a role-playing thing where we say he's learning.
Yeah, that's how I think I would do it too. I think with downtime, it lets your characters do some interesting stuff. If you're doing a campaign where you jump around, which I've done sometimes, like have a campaign where like 3 years elapses before the next part of the campaign takes place and the world changes during the downtime, which that can be really interesting.
Yeah, I find I don't do that enough. I mean, that is a good idea. Our campaigns, it always seems like the players are always moving and going through stuff, which isn't very realistic.
Do you guys mess around with time travel?
Oh boy.
Only in my personal life.
You're a companion.
I'll tell you this, I probably will. I'll mess around with time travel and parallel universes if I ever do a Stephen King themed RPG. That's gonna happen.
Sweet.
Yeah, and I'm waiting for that because being as big of a King fan as I am, there will come a time where I do something with Dark Tower. It's not a question of if, just of when.
Mm.
What about when characters have like time-based abilities? You know, like whether it be divination or really anything. I mean, I've always, in my experience, those abilities are always the biggest pain in the ass to try and.
You just took the
don't know.
words out of my mouth. Pain in the ass.
Yeah.
That's why running Mage the Ascension is such a nightmare. Every single ability, like from several of the Mage schools, will just wreck what the players can do with time and travel, and it just gets wild. Have you guys
Yeah.
ever done like a game of Mage?
Yeah, I played Mage. It was the New World of Darkness. That was Mage the Awakening, which, you know, obviously a lot of things are changed, but I'm sure the feel of the game is, you know, more or less the same in the grand scheme of, you know, RPGs. And yeah, I experienced a lot of that myself. My character was space was my big thing, so I was all into like teleportation and scrying and all that sort of stuff. And then time was my minor one, but I just, even as a player, I don't know, I'm hesitant to use it because I feel like, I don't know, I feel like it adds an element in there that I don't know, it seems like more of trouble than it's worth almost.
Don't wreck your car.
It's like crazy for a DM when you're thinking of what can take place in a session of Mage, because you're sitting there and you're like, well, the characters right now are in this rural area of the U.S., but literally within seconds, you can be in an opium den in China, or you can be basically anywhere in the world, not to mention the Umbra and the other places, and all the rules are just constantly changing. I guess it's a great exercise on improv. Like if you want to do some crazy improv as a DM, that's the game to run, I guess.
Yeah, and it's really one of those games. I don't know, kind of like Wraith 2. It almost seems like the player characters are good having DM experience because you really need to be creative as a player and you need to be able to improvise even your abilities and stuff.
Do you guys have any tips for improvising? I just usually say yes and, or like maybe a yes but. Do you guys have any tips?
I like that method fairly well. Sometimes though, I'll do no, hell no, but that's a little bit rare.
Like, what's an example of when you would say no, hell no?
If a player is trying to pass something off as RP, but they're really trying to break the system, like a power gamer, if I start to get any inkling that there's a player motive instead of a character motive, sometimes I'll shoot it down.
I like to sort of deny players sometimes, not necessarily tell them no, but deny them their perceptions. For example, in my Mage game, speaking of Mage, I was playing an Indian character, as in not a Native American, an actual Indian. And like, you know, the first time I saw my character, it was like, you know, I was like, after the mission or whatever, I made some comment about going to eat naan bread and lamb curry, and then, you know, it was like whatever. And then a few sessions later, I mentioned that I was hungry, and then I was just like, yeah, let's just go get a burger. And that just like, everyone is like, you know, I did not play into the stereotype on purpose. And I'll do that as a GM too, to sort of get players to turn their heads and be like, oh yeah, what I assumed about that character wasn't necessarily true. So that's a denial of sorts, but you know, it obviously keeps the story going. So.
You know, sometimes when I say no is when it'll get like in a zero-sum situation between players. Because if you have to adjudicate between players, someone's going to get told no. Like a good example of this, one of the last games I played, I had a Dragonborn Bard, and his spouse was playing, and he was, you know, having a good time with it, being really theatric and, in a way, disrupting the game maybe a little bit, but it was really funny. And his spouse had had enough of it, so she, out of character, said that she was going to trip him when he was going to do something. Well, I was like, all right, Amy, you want to trip the guy, you trip the guy, so we roll it up. He gets tripped, and then he's like, let me do another roll to see if I can recover and like not fall on the ground. And I was like, I'm sorry, man. There's one roll. Your Dragonborn ass is falling to the ground in your armor, and it's going to look ridiculous. So, that's an example of where you say no, because you had the parameters clearly defined. There's going to be one roll. You either get tripped or you don't get tripped. A player might have wish fulfillment to make it look cooler than it actually should look, but, I deny that wish fulfillment because the player tripping him wants to see his ass fall.
How do you guys roll? Perhaps one character wants to intimidate another character on your table. How do you guys do that? Do you just have intimidation rolls and then you ask them to role play if there's a fail?
Normally what I'll do is I'll ask for intimidation rolls and then make them role play regardless. If it's a success, I want them to role play it in a way it looks like one side just straight up intimidates the other. If it's a failure, I want them to do a really bad job of intimidation and make it look that way.
See, I usually do the inverse of that. I usually let them sort of role play it out until it gets to a point where, like, someone's trying to, intimidate or dupe another player over, and the other guy's like, no, that's not going to work. And I'm like, well, he did present some good points, so that's when you roll, for me. But up until then, I'll let sort of them and their role playing define it, which, the end result is really the same.
I try to do that as well, where I'd like my players to role play it first, and then if I think it's mildly convincing or whatever, then I'll roll and then tell them how it came across to the other side if they failed it or if it was really strong. But I don't always have players that are up for that, like getting that into character. So sometimes I'll let them just roll it and give me an explanation of what their character's doing. It's not as fun, I'll admit it, but sometimes I'll let players do that. So.
Yeah,
actually, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, one of my groups has players that attack each other and will do crazy shit. Like, you don't know what they'll do. They're literally wild cards. So when they'll often approach things initially from a gamer's perspective. I think it becomes a question of, does the role play precede the role? Because sometimes you'll get into a situation where it's seamless. A conversation will carry over into a territory where it becomes intimidation, when at first it was just a request. Straight from the get-go as an intimidation. And they'll say, I'm going to try to intimidate you. And I guess you have to take different approaches for both situations, unless you want to say, when they go, I want to intimidate you, well, let's see what the intimidation looks like first, and maybe I'll have you roll, maybe not. I mean, I guess that's legitimate, too.
I mean, the only thing I have against intimidation, and here's the reason. If you have a charm spell, you have a DC save. Intimidation seems like I'm going to try to intimidate your character to give me their weapon.
You mean, how do you do, like, opposed rolls or not, is what you're asking?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, I do an opposed roll. Like, usually it's a player trying to intimidate an NPC, which I think is I think it's used overly too much in any game. Because, but I do an opposed roll behind the screen.
I usually have problems. I have specific problems with player versus player, like confrontation, because I feel like it can completely derail people. I feel like it's almost like a form of you taking someone's thing and throwing it on the ground and breaking it because you're having an attitude problem. I hate that stuff.
Yeah, it can escalate. It escalates from character to character to player like that for a lot of people.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that sort of stuff, like you said, it happens with NPCs far too often. It seems like in role-playing games, the players view, and maybe some GMs view this as well, like every NPC is either a friend or an ally. And maybe you haven't met them yet and they're neutral, but once you interact with them, they have to be a friend or an ally, which to me is very unrealistic. And also, like, even in movies, like, there's just, in an action movie, if there's a badass action sequence of, someone running away from someone else and they go into like a shop, the shopkeep's not gonna. He's just gonna be like, oh, get the fuck out of it. You know what I mean? He's just gonna like care for his own. He's not gonna like be on someone's side. There should be, in my opinion, neutral and like people that are completely disinterested in what the characters are doing, and like, why there's no need to intimidate or persuade them because they just don't give a shit and they don't have anything that you care about.
Yeah, it's obvious that people look at their sheet and say, oh, I got a really high intimidation score. I'm going to intimidate this merchant into lowering their prices. Or I'm going to intimidate this guy into giving me information. And it's like, well, you just took out this, 8th level, commando. He's been trained. He's not going to be intimidated into anything. But okay, roll for it.
Oh, right, yeah. It was like the other day when I made that joke about Power Gamer being a diplomancer. Like, they will do this shit, right? Like, they'll abuse the intimidate and diplomacy skills and make it unrealistic in the same way they'll make anything else unrealistic in the game. So if they're going around convincing everybody they see, all the way down from a beggar to the king, to do what they want just by talking to them for a few seconds, it's gotten out of control.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, it's overly used. All those, I think, really are. I mean, unless your guy is actually a salesman in the game, he shouldn't be using diplomacy 33 times per session.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
I think you should really limit the scope of the power of diplomacy, intimidation, and persuasion. Like, there's a set of actions that the person can take, and I certainly don't think that you can use intimidation to render another character to surrender one of their items to you. I hate that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. There definitely are restrictions. I mean, at least the way I would use it. I can see using intimidation for an interrogation. That's really the only time I think it makes sense. I don't know. Besides that, I think, like I said, it's overused. I've seen players use it against merchants. I've seen them use it in bars against another guy who's drunk and about to fight him, which a drunk guy is probably not going to be scared. Just all these different things. And same thing with diplomacy. Everyone's like, oh, I'm going to be a diplomat and try to talk them into lowering their prices and this and that. And I don't think it should come across that easy either. I mean, even if you think about it, if you're from a realistic perspective, you're trying to sell something in real life. You have a bottom line number and you have an asking price, right? Somebody might be real smooth and be able to talk you into it, but really, what are the things they're going to talk you into? It's going to be sob stories, if anything. Like, oh, this lady's, can't afford your car. She really needs a car, and she's a single mother. Okay, you might lower your price because you feel sorry for her, but not because she's a suave salesperson.
Yeah, I feel like a first-level server would be able to have a very high DC check for that.
Yeah, that's what
You're
I'm
not even
saying.
Get your food low.
Yeah, they're overused, but whatever. And you can't use it for anything. I mean, it's like I said, it's got to be something that would make sense. Diplomacy, in my opinion, should be used in more political situations to get people to back your viewpoint more so than try to convince someone to lower the prices on things.
Definitely.
That's what persuasion is for.
For lowering prices or for politics?
Lowering prices.
There you go.
Or intimidation.
So there was a really cool intimidation you would have liked that happened in that David Sims game. At the end of it, one of the players used your favorite cantrip, thaumaturgy, and convinced an entire room full of hostiles to put down their weapons and surrender.
Yeah, well, see, that would make sense because you're scaring the shit out of them in the first place.
Yeah, it's a good use of intimidation, in my opinion.
Yeah, I would say so. I think Matt did that in our game too, where he let us do something and then he made us roll something like that. But the guy had already pissed himself, I think, too.
Wow. Yeah, I'm not too big on those skills in my games, to be honest. A lot of the time, I'll even let checks kind of go unchecked if it's just back and forth conversation.
That's what I was gonna ask you guys about, as you guys are the more experienced ones. Which do you draw the line between needing to roll for diplomacy and just role playing it? Because usually with me, it depends on what they're saying. If they're saying something that the other person agrees with or is naturally afraid of, I typically let the roll either automatically succeed or fail, depending on what they said.
Well, it depends. In my Savage Worlds game, are some of the players and stuff when they get into role playing with the NPCs, it's very like they say something and then the other person counters it, and then they keep repeating themselves. There's no give, there's no trying a different tactic, and so in that case, if I was running the game, I'd probably say no, you can't. They're not going to budge. I'm not even going to let them roll on it. Now, if they're trying different tactics, okay, I might let them roll for it, whether they're good at RPing it out or not. Now, if they're good at RPing it and they do different tactics, I probably wouldn't necessarily make them roll. I'd probably just give them what they want. So, if someone's a good RPer, I'll probably cave most of the time, or not most of the time, but if it makes sense.
I usually just basically I look at the situation, like, is it critical? Is it super important that they make this? Is this a situation where somebody is going to be really hard to convince? And then I still might just let them try to talk it out. But in my opinion, those skills are there for players who aren't very good at talking. Because I've known plenty of people whose character is extremely social and is an incredibly high charisma and is really skilled at convincing people of things and psychology and interactions of that fashion, but the player isn't, and they deserve as much of a chance to be able to do it through dice rolls as I do to be able to do a double backflip with, because, I can't do that in real life.
Yeah. And I've been guilty of sometimes letting my players roll the dice, even if they haven't really tried to role play it out real well. So I'm guilty of encouraging non-role play sometimes, I guess, on accident.
Yeah, my whole thing was basically against player versus player with these use of these skills.
Yeah.
I think that's abhorrent. So.
Yeah, I can agree. I can get behind that. It's for NPC interactions. I think that was the intention originally. I can't say for certain, but that's always been my interpretation. That's for interacting with the world, especially if you're tired and you're just like, I'm going to roll diplomacy. I inflict social problems.
Yeah.
I don't want to describe every single sword swing sometimes. Sometimes I'm just like, I'm going to put the pointy end where it's going to do as much damage as I think it can.
And I think you're really on the nose about like the charisma checks and people who aren't very good at perhaps role playing, and they still want to be able to do that. Yeah, I think it's really good.
Yeah, not to say that they're not, it's people who aren't likable, it's just people who they don't know what to say.
Maybe they just haven't built up their role-play chops yet.
It's true.
Yeah, good faith effort goes a long ways. Like, if they're trying to improve.
Definitely.
But yeah, I've had, sometimes players go in and say something, and I'm just like, you are friggin' kidding me. Roll some kind of social check, because no.
Yeah, it's like they try to use it like Jedi mind trick or something. Like, you want to pull out your blade and slit your own throat.
It's just like, what? The worst part is you could do that in 3.0 if you had epic levels of diplomacy.
Yeah, it's just ridiculous.
I think it was somewhere in the neighborhood of a diplomacy check of 75 to 125, but it's I don't know if they needed those levels in that handbook, but
another really cheap way to do it is the spell command with a special enchanted ring that allows you to for people to think that you always have the best interest in them.
Well,
So-
that's a little bit different because it's a spell.
Yeah.
Spells.
Yeah, no, it's
that's
not a
fine.
charisma
I mean,
check or
whatever.
anything, but it is an interesting way of doing that. Give somebody that ring that you need to assassinate, then cast a spell, and they kill themselves.
Oh my gosh. Speaking of assassinate, have you guys looked at the rogue's archetype of assassin?
Yeah, it's pretty tight.
It's amazing. I'm actually choosing it for my character, Paripi. If you get a surprise on a character and you hit them, it's an automatic crit. So if you're dual-wielding weapons, that's automatically... You have 2d6 for your sneak attack. So that's going to be doubled. So you're going to be rolling 4 dice per
But would
weapon.
the second hit count as a sneak attack too?
Absolutely,
Or would
because
it
it's
just
in the
be your
same.
first hit?
It's in the same turn.
Oh, okay.
I don't know, because
Because it's not like. So that would be like saying.
I think
Is it
well,
still a
stealth.
sneak attack because I can take a double action? I mean that's kind of infringing upon a person's ability who dual wields.
I don't know that because when you attack, you spoil stealth, and if you're not hidden, then you don't have your advantage at that point.
Well, as I preface this with, it's a surprise attack. You were hidden to them.
I guess. Yeah, but then I guess it depends on whether or not. I guess you could just say, well, I'm putting both blades in simultaneously, so that because I mean it's
Like I'm
there's no
stabbing
reason.
with both at the
Yeah.
same exact time. Yeah.
Like one of those cool God of War moves where he goes up in the air and he comes down with both blades in the shoulders. I mean, it's a fantasy game. Why the hell not?
Yeah. Here's the thing.
So what's the max damage on that maps? Have you figured that out yet?
Oh my god. Okay, so we're talking about just in the game that I'm running with DMJ, we're doing 2 weapon damage max. So the sneak attack alone is going to be 48 points of damage, and that's before weapon damage.
Well, let's just call it automatic decapitation.
I mean, that's the thing. I'm like,
Coup de grace.
I have to talk to him about that because I don't think I don't want my character. I mean, my character right
Look
now
at you,
is
you
ready to
min-maxer.
face a dragon.
We got a power
So-
gamer right here.
I mean, if I hit the dragon and I'm doing like 62 points of damage in the first round against the dragon if I hit, and if the thing with assassinate is if the person hasn't been in combat yet, it's going to be an advantage roll. So I have advantage for both attacks. So I don't think this double weapon damage is going to work out for us.
No.
No, because I would just be sneaking around all the time. Because why wouldn't I be?
Right.
I've heard rogues are really crazy with the damage in this edition.
They are, yes.
Especially-
It's more powerful than a fighter right there, no matter how you do it.
Yeah.
That's insane. And then your next round, you're still doing quite a bit of damage with 2 swords, or 2
I mean,
whatever.
that's a surprise round. If my initiative is higher than the dragon, that means I would be able to roll with advantage again for both weapons.
Well, no, because it's definitely knows you're there, and your stealth is spoiled, so you don't have your advantage at that point.
Unfortunately, there's a thing in for the assassinate. If the enemy has not taken a turn yet in combat, you still roll with advantage.
Dragons have really good perception, though, and so I think that'll be hard with a dragon.
Yeah, I mean, with a dragon.
With other stuff,
I'm not. Did you guys watch the end of the game that we just played?
I have not.
I haven't seen it yet.
I
I'm gonna
kill a
watch it.
lizard man, and my character in his backstory, he's known as Le Écorché, which is Flair. So he took off the skin of the lizard man and put it on as a disguise, sews himself up.
I bet DMJ was loving that.
He was like, "What the fuck are you doing?" Okay, do you guys study any myths? Because you have Hercules, like
I love mythology.
Flay the lion, and he uses that for his armor. So I thought it'd be interesting to have Paripi put on this lizard mask, this bodysuit, and then perhaps he can lead a character to the dragon, and then launch his attack by having support there with him.
Also, I believe it was the Nemean lion. The lion supposedly had impenetrable fur to any weapon, so he strangled it.
Yes, that's correct. Very good. Did you read? Oh my God! Did you read The Shield?
The shill?
The Shield?
Who is that one about? The titles escape me, but I typically know who I'm talking. Research.
The author is Hesiod.
Yes.
He's also like Homer. He's also one of the main proponents that brought out these myths.
Ah.
Anyway, the stories from the original stories from Hercules, I believe, stem from his work, Hesiod.
Oh, okay.
Not to go
that's
too
what you're
nerdy
getting
on you, but whatever.
Yeah.
I love
Don't worry,
doing
whenever
that,
I
by the
start
way.
explaining this stuff to these guys, it's typically, especially to Juice, I start explaining mythology, and he's just like, whoosh, over my head. I mean, I said, like, Darmuid Odanya and Kushalain, and he was just looking at me like, who are these people?
Yeah. What
So it's nice
mythos
to
were
actually meet somebody else.
What mythos were those
Huh?
from? Who were those people?
Darmuid Odanya is Scottish mythology. I believe he was a half-god, as it was Cuchulainn, which was Ireland's Man of Light.
As I say, I think
well,
at least,
yeah, that's
at least
a
Cushulainn
mythology
is
I know nothing about.
Brigidian. A
Oh,
lot of
no,
interesting stuff in that. My favorite one is when, I think, was it Cuchulainn who drank an entire lake full of soup to best a troll in a bet?
I believe that was him, yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, the part of the bet was he had to do 3 things, and they were increasingly difficult, and the last one was, you have to be able to finish my dinner, my bowl of stew. And he's like, okay, I can do that. And he's like, there it is, and points to a lake, and it's just full of stew. And he was like, well, that's, I bet you weren't ready for this, because I'm a 3-sandwich eating mofo. And then the troll welched on its bet, and it was like, yeah, I'm going to kill you. And the mountain that it was camped behind stood up, and it was the Morrigan. And the Morrigan was like, I don't like people who welch on bets, and ate the troll. And Cuchulainn was like, okay, well, I'm not pressing my luck. Later. Irish mythology.
Yeah, he did. I don't think he had his spear at that time.
No, I don't think he had the thorn spear yet.
Yeah, Guyborg.
Yep.
Who is the main author for these stories, or are these just oral traditions that were written down later?
These are just old oral traditions.
I see.
Cuchulainn
Dungeons and
was
Dragons
a-
actually reminds me of that a lot, and that's why I think it's more related to literature than I think perhaps movies or even television. Because I think a lot of the techniques that you use for literature can be employed successfully in your game, as opposed to you have a close-up shot. I mean, whatever. That's just me.
You know what one device I really like doing in RPGs with heroes? Pantheon building. In the same way that, like, if you look at real world mythologies, they're oftentimes a family or an organization of people who are from the foundation of this society, or arguably from the foundation of several other societies whose stories have been passed over here. You get that with the diva, or the, what are they called? I'm trying to remember the proper term for it. The Hindi myths.
The Deva, the Asura, the Indra.
Those myths, they're very much sound like people who did important things, and those things were embellished, and you get that very much with the Greek myths, and you get it even more
sure.
with the Teutonic myths, and it's I really like doing that with like player characters, and then because later on in the world you can hear stories of them, and they may be embellished to the point of legendary. And even though, yeah, these are guys who did super cool things, but now it's like 300 years later, and those super cool things are now impossible beyond description.
Mm.
But in D&D, sometimes you can't do that because sometimes they just go kill dragons.
Yeah, very true.
The last 3.5
Nothing wrong with a
game
good
I
dragon
ran,
slaying.
yeah, last 3.5 game I ran actually went to the point where they're like, well, let's just hunt down dragons. Nothing else, just experience points. And I was like, gosh dang it. Well, I think it's probably time to retire here, guys. When you're specifically dragon hunting.
Yeah, it's like the purist. All right, man, we're gonna go find a dungeon, and there better be a dragon, or I'm out.
I'm going to give this the worst review on Yelp if there is not at least a Beholder Mage by Room 5.
Man, the dragons in 5e look pretty crazy.
Super crazy. Super crazy.
Have you used any yet, Philip, for anything? I saw there was like a level 5 or 6 one in the starter set.
I use dragons in my homebrew game, and I use them fairly extensively, and I usually have them interact with the characters very early on to kind of impart this huge sense of drama and epicness. But direct combat, I don't usually use them because they're a little bit too powerful. But I try to have them interact in a perhaps as a benefactor or as a villain. But I haven't waged them against my characters or had them fight them.
When you use dragons in that way, do you have them in like a humanoid form, or
Yes,
are
I
they
do.
in their draconic form?
I do both. I had some characters that had been a part of a ship that got blown up, and they were knocked off into the water. And as they were trying to make their way towards shore among all these corpses that are floating, there's a lone boat that's sailing. And as they approach the boat, they see that there's this elven character, and he has 2 small children in the boat. Well, when they jump up to the side to try to pull themselves out, they frighten the character, and when he frightens, he loses control of his spell, and he becomes the dragon. So I do a lot of stuff like that, and I think it's a really nice way to blow their minds and introduce them to extremely powerful characters. I think it's good.
Yeah, that's really awesome theatrics. It's like giving them a glimpse into the depth. You're like, whoa.
Yeah, and this is, I don't know if you remember me talking about that, you have these, like these eggs that have been polymorphed to look like babies. So when the person's sailing away, he's actually just gotten his eggs, and he's just trying to make his way home without being discovered. Because there's lots of malevolent forces at work.
So if somebody saw them, it would just look like a boat full of babies?
Well, it would look like an elf and his kids.
Oh, okay, I see.
It's just
An elf with multiple kids?
Yeah, like 2 kids.
I thought elves had like one child every like 100 years.
I guess it depends on if you're Tolkien or not.
I was gonna say there is the possibility that there's many mothers.
Well, I mean,
These
how
are
many
polygamous
children do dragons have?
I don't know. The reason I had heard I think elves don't have children very often is because otherwise they would overpopulate the world and they would overrun everything.
I
Because there'd
figured
be
they
so
just
many
had
of them.
other things to do. like stare at trees.
Do you have dragons give birth to like broods, like huge amounts of eggs at once, or is it something really rare?
I think it's something more rare. It's definitely not the alien archetype I think that you might be suggesting. Because that would be incredible. You walk in, it's a black dragon, there's all this acid everywhere dripping down on these leathery eggs. Fuck that.
Like,
out, no doubt, gone.
Like, what if it was that way, and the first things the eggs do when they hatch is prey on the weaker black dragons until there's only like a couple like alpha ones left.
That
Black
reminds
dragon.
me of what lobsters do. I like that a lot.
I actually have done that. I was gonna say a black dragon's like closing in on the rogue, and the fighter walks in like, "Get away from her, you bitch!"
Some Ridley Scott scenes. Love it. Really good.
That's funny.
How about you guys? Have you slain any dragons on your adventures?
I have killed one dragon, and it wasn't amazingly old. So I guess I run bigger campaigns than I get to plan. But I
I've survived a dragon.
Hey, there you go. Yeah.
Yeah, I've never killed a dragon in a game I've been playing in. I've done it for my players. I've had them kill numerous dragons. My favorite ones have always been like an intrigue, hard decision type of kill. There was this one campaign I was running where I had the parties basically allying with a group of half ogres that are going around killing dragons. They're dragon slayers. That's basically what they do as a profession. And it puts them in this position because they had to use the ogres to progress a different plot, where they had to choose whether to kill a gold dragon, even though the party was predominantly good, or to turn against the ogres and potentially get killed by the ogres. So I'm guessing Philip knows, judging by how bastardly my 4E group is, that they killed the dragon.
Yeah, no doubt.
Didn't even second it.
I mean, after playing 5E, how do you feel about 4E now?
I feel. Look at Juice, he's already laughing. I feel the
He's
same about it
converted.
now.
He's seen the light.
You know, it's one of those things. It's just the situation I've found myself in GMing. I don't prefer 4E over any other edition. In fact, before that, before 5E, my favorite edition was 2nd edition. So, I think now though I might actually prefer 5E because it's got a lot of the old elements I liked, and it's supported right now. So I'm interested to see what they do with it. They're still in that kind of discovery phase.
Definitely.
I still feel the same way about 4th edition that I did before.
Just look at his videos, first of all. You'll see SR2 Joker is creeping into 5E territory now.
Oh.
Oh, yeah.
Solo!
And I feel
Dude.
like a majority of the people found your channel through 4E.
Okay, so here's what happened, right? I thought that too. So I went back to 4E because I promised them I'd finish that series I was doing. I throw it up after all those people had complained, and then nobody watched it. So
I watched that video.
That's because they knew you were selling out.
yeah, that was very kind, by the way, Philip. So we'll see. We'll see when they start picking up again. If people want 4E, I'll do it. But if they don't, I'm gonna go with what I'm playing currently, and that's gonna be 5E.
That's what
I
you
think
should
that's
do.
best.
Yeah, do what you want to make videos about.
Definitely.
Don't try to, cater to your small number of subscriptions. You'll never grow to be a big channel doing that.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm just happy I have like 10 subscribers myself.
My wife has more subscribers to you, and she doesn't even make videos yet.
Yeah, but she's
I know.
female. She's female. That's not fair.
Actually, I saw a video of you, but I think your wife was your fiancée at the time.
Yeah, that's that video is almost 2 years old now, I think.
Wow.
Yeah, it's my most popular video.
You had like 700 views or something.
Yeah, that's my most popular video. Andrew, tell them what your popular video is.
I think it's creeping up towards 7,000 views, but
Nice.
Whoa.
that
Is
part-
that a 4E character creation?
Yep, it is. It's the 4E character creation.
Sweet.
Yeah,
Our
so I
big
got
ones-
nothing on him.
Yeah, our big ones are usually Palladium. Anything that we put out about Palladium, more views than everything else. Like that, of the 5 videos we put out in August, the interview with Kevin Simbita, hundreds of views ahead of everything else so far ahead. And it's like, I look through all our stuff, and it's like, our riffs videos are always like leagues ahead of everything else. I'm just like, well, man, we should review more Palladium games.
Now you know
that's
why.
for sure.
Now you know why Palladium only releases Riffs books on a regular schedule.
No, we're
Speaking
trying to
of
do Beyond the Supernatural in October, so maybe hopefully that'll get as much attention.
Yeah, it'll get about 30 views.
Yeah, I'm hoping it gets as much attention as the Riffs one, especially since I love BTS and I want more people to like it. So they should look at it and hear me go, yeah, it's good. It's good food. Try a bite.
Speaking of riffs, I'm going to be playing in my full first actual game, Juice, instead of one-shot Heroes Unlimited that I came in at the last minute for.
Oh yeah, with who?
Sean's going to be running it.
Sean Vergara, the gaming beast.
Yeah, the Gaming Beast. He's going to be running it. I was like the second person he invited. He was like, dude, you got to play this. And I was like, all right, let's do this.
I think he invited me.
I'm reading it. I'm really liking it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think you put it as a maybe.
Yeah.
I was kind of interested because during the Heroes Unlimited game, he was playing a cyborg, so I was like, oh, okay, so this particular Palladium does cyborgs really well. I happen to be part cyborg myself, so I'm like, I want to play a badass cyborg. It's a lot more complex than I thought.
It's one of the most complex things in the book, the cyborg is.
Well, might as well jump into the deep end.
Yeah, there you go.
You'll like it as long as I shouldn't say you'll like it because you might hate it, but it all depends on what he chooses for like the setting and things like that. Did he tell you or did he mention where he's playing it at?
Hey, you know, he didn't.
I think it was supposed to be the U.S. post-apocalyptic.
Right. But I mean, which
So-
part of the world?
I'm guessing Coalition area.
Yeah, he was talking a lot about the Coalition, so...
Awesome. Yeah, because I told him if I played, I'd play an ex-coalition soldier.
It's a good build.
I love it.
Has anyone heard anything more about playing with I can't never remember how to pronounce his name. Davon Jackson?
Oh, DeVay Breon Jackson or something?
Yeah.
DBJ.
Yeah.
Yeah, DBJ. Let's make it easy.
Because I really want to get into that Eclipse phase.
He said he'll run it.
I was amazed. I was like, I couldn't believe you were his friend, and then I was like,
Oh, I
well,
comment
then
on
he
a lot
said
of his
he'd do
videos.
it.
He's an Ohio State fan and I'm a Michigan fan, so we talk smack.
Oh, cool. I mean, I need to download that game and read up on it, because
Yeah.
all I know is what his videos have said.
Yeah, just send him a message. He's
Well,
pretty down to earth and cool. And he'll let you know like character creation rules and stuff. I think he replied in the thread on the one-shot group and had recommendations for the different things we should look at.
Yeah, it sounds like a really good time.
He
You
said
should
in
send
that
him an
same
invite
post,
to one of these sometime.
I've tried before. I don't know if he's always available.
I see.
Yeah. But you're right, I should, because then I don't have to talk.
Him and Main Man both, dude. The destroyer and the creator. Same video.
That would be good. I've thought about inviting combustible personalities to see what they do to each other with various people. I'm not going to say names or anything, but I thought it would be very entertaining, and I've thought better of it.
You would have to have it really structured then to where you're like, all right, that's his point. Now give your point and go back and forth.
And just keep muting them.
Yep.
What is that like a Don Forge cast versus DMJ kind of thing?
No, but that would be entertaining.
Hmm.
I think they'd both quit.
Hmm.
Yeah, I don't think they would
That would be
either of them
slow.
stick around.
That'd be
Brad?
more on the shore.
What was that you were trying to say, Brad?
I said I think the internet would explode if that happened.
Well, only if it was on one of their channels. Nobody would even see it on my channel.
I mean, what's the beef anyway between those guys?
I don't know. I'm sure if you ask one of them, they'll give you their side of the story.
There's quite a series of videos explaining that between Dungeon Master Johnny, Dawn Forge Cast, The Gentleman Gamer, and a couple other guys who I don't believe produce any longer.
Even Amber's Knight there, he got in on it too.
Yeah, well, you guys
you're
are
right,
talking
you're
about the
right.
second set of the drama. There was drama
that was
before all that with
Mm.
DMJ and DFC, I believe, like predating that stuff. So, but I don't know a lot about it. I just know it was entertaining a little bit. If you like Crash TV, you know.
I know the story of the second one. I don't know the first bit.
Neither do I.
You
Well,
should
I've
have,
heard it, but I don't remember it.
you should have DFC on to tell us his history from his point of view.
All the drama. No, he's been in my chats before, but he didn't really contribute much. He just kind of came in and sat there, and I think he said a couple words, but then ducked out. That was like the first one I did.
Cool.
Yeah, he probably was like, "Ah, this channel's not going to give me any more subscribers. I'm not staying around." But anyways, off the drama.
Yeah.
Yeah, where's your sign, Juice? You gotta show the sign, the disclaimer.
Oh yeah, I should. Where is my disclaimer? I don't even remember what I did with that. I'll see if I can find it.
I think I finally read that disclaimer. It said something about no mentioning drugs. I was like, okay.
Did it? I don't know if it did or not.
I was like, okay, I'm not gonna talk about the long leaf herbs of the hobbits.
I don't think I said that, did I? No mentioning of drugs?
Don't vote for
Where
crack,
is my
vote for
disclaimer?
smack.
Here's what we need, Juice. We need a really nicely done piece of art of goblins in construction hats with hammers that says, currently under construction, we'll be right back. So when the subject goes to something bad, you throw that up and mute everybody.
Oh, okay. Here we go. I'll put it up and then I'll read it as well. Let's see. Click on this.
I don't know why, but for some reason, when he was like describing the under construction thing, all I could think was
Website
after the
needing work.
Messages.
All right. Here's the disclaimer.
Of illegal activities whatsoever, so technically drugs are off the table.
No, you can talk about drugs. Drugs aren't illegal. Just purchasing them and doing them is illegal.
You just broke the rule.
Actually, I read something today that said smoking is not illegal for underagers. It's the purchasing of cigarettes that's illegal. I don't know if that's true or not, but that's what I read
Definitely
today.
giving them cigarettes will get you arrested, like for free.
Oh, technically it's not against the law, supposedly from what I read today.
Well, it's in that case, it's contributing to the delinquency.
I actually got a ticket when I was 17 for smoking outside of a theater.
Did you? What was your ticket?
It was something very minor. It was just a couple dollars, but it's on there. 17, 2 weeks before I turned 18. What's up?
Nice.
Wow.
All right, so there's the disclaimer that we had to do. So, for various reasons.
One bad session.
Was it the guy joining the hate group? Was that it?
That was part of it, and there was other stuff. There was a guy that we're friends with on here that somebody was kind of mean about, and some other things. But yeah.
Now I kind of want to watch that video.
Well, I took it down.
Aw.
It's private now.
After I heard about the hate group thing, I went onto my friends list and I was like, delete.
Oh, did you trust
Are
the
you
person's
kidding
word?
me?
Did you trust the person's word? I don't know if it's true or not, but
What? I don't talk to him that much to even risk it, so forget about it.
Oh, I talked to the guy, so
Okay.
I've never suspected anything.
Poor that guy. Poor that guy.
Oh man,
Or that guy or that.
I am dying. Let's talk about something else, because now all I want to do is ask who and what. And I'm like, what's the juice? Not
Yeah,
the,
what's the
not
juice?
the juice. What's the juicy? What's the juicy gossip from Juice?
I can't.
Juice's
I'd
juicy
rather
gossip. There you go. Start a new video series.
was more-
Juice's juicy gossip.
Oh yeah, that'd be great.
There was more. I should. It might actually get me some views. No, there was
I
there was
heard.
stuff too about illegal products that are out there, gaming related, and I just
Okay.
because it was aired on my channel, I didn't want my channel to get shut down because it's like, hey, you can go get this and this and this. So
There was also a few jokes done in bad taste.
yeah, I don't remember those.
Best we not bring those back up.
Yeah, I probably.
You're killing
It's
me.
not 1 a.m. It's not 1 a.m. So
It,
right.
it slipped the longer the night went on, the more out of control it got, until finally Juice was just like, off air, off air, off air.
but I waited until you said I was innocent. Which I don't think I said anything bad that night, really.
No, you just viewed the train wreck.
Yeah, I tend to poke jokes at everybody. Like it's just what I do. Like for instance, Fox, and you said your channel was good earlier, and I
Yeah,
said,
yeah.
"Are you sure about that?" You know, it's just my
Yeah,
personality.
no, that's fine. That's good.
But you know, some people take that out of context, and then when it was getting serious by other people, I stopped poking jokes. Oh, yeah.
Oh, shit.
But anyways, I try to play it politically correct sometimes too, because a lot of the channels that people make fun of or bring up drama about, I actually do enjoy. So
I just usually try to be polite, and if I feel that if you're just generally polite, you're politically correct at the same time, because it's
yeah,
pretty much the same thing.
right. Yeah, and most of the people are nice to me, so I don't have any problems with them. I only have a problem when someone's outwardly rude or mean to me, and then I'm like, all right, screw your channel. And it's happened like 2 or 3 times where someone's been a total jerk, but I just unsubscribe or just stop commenting altogether.
Speaking of that, did you see Shepe is actually putting out quite a bit of videos?
I did, and I got so excited seeing that because he's like, I'm never going to put out videos until I have better production. And now he's putting them out.
He's putting them out like they're going out of style.
Yeah, yes. It's about stuff that I have no idea what he's talking about, but that's great. That's Chepe's charm.
Yeah, when I was talking to you the other day, Juice, about Corporea, I instantly thought, I should tell that to Shepe. Shepe probably has the book already.
No, because you know of it, it's too mainstream. He knows the most obscure games, man. It's so awesome. Oh, God, I hate that guy. Sorry, I just saw your comment.
I played in a game under him. It was okay. But
No, not the
I don't
first name
feel
over there. The second one.
Oh, I don't know.
That guy's a troll.
I don't know that person.
Oh. Can you say troll? Yeah. My daughter says he's a troll too.
Who?
I said it over on the side maps.
Oh, I'm actually on my iPad. I can't check.
Oh, okay. Well, just go
man.
through one of our videos and you'll see the anti-D&D stuff.
I'll just pull out my phone. Jeez, man. 2 devices.
Yeah. Oh man, I was just thinking. You're talking about super obscure games. Have any of you heard of Numenon?
Numenon or Numenera?
Yeah. Not Numenera, Numenon.
Yeah,
Numinous?
nope. Oh, Fox, you and Chepe are probably best buds. Because you do have a bunch of those obscure games too.
I do. I have a bunch of weird, obscure games.
That's not a bad thing. That's
it's
a good
not a
thing.
bad thing. I think it's a neutral thing. I like reading weird, obscure games.
Do you have problems finding people to play them?
Yeah, actually, I was like really excited about the one-shot thing. I was like, one of the first things I thought is, I might run Numenon in that because it's a really, really weird game. Really, really, really weird. And it's not the kind of thing I could see doing a sustained campaign in.
Right.
But it's like everybody plays a character that's a total tabula rasa. And it's essentially you wake up in a cave as this weird insect-like creature, and then when you go forward, you find a house, and that house is the whole world you're in, room by room, and it's like just a huge psychological experiment, and it's supposed to be every game's answers to the questions are different as to what you're doing, and it's like it's got all this weird like symbology, everything's supposed to be symbolism. Just a bizarre little thing. And
it sounds wild, man.
Yeah, it's really hard to describe. It's really hard to describe. But that's I think the RPG One Shots group is one of the coolest and worst things to ever happen to me. Because I was 3 weeks ago, I had been sitting around for a long time like, man, I got all these games I want to play. We can only really play once a week. Nobody's free. Everybody's got these weird work schedules. Nobody wants to play these weird hipster games that I've got laying around. But I've got them.
Okay,
I want to do them. And then here comes the one-shot group, and I'm like, oh, hey, I'll join this game. I'll join this one. And now I'm like, oh, God, I have college. It's like, I have homework. Why am I doing this? Like, it's to the point
That's
where
how I
people are
feel
like,
right
hey,
now.
do you want to play this game? And I'm like, I can't. I've already got a game that day. It's like, I have no time left. It's consuming my world.
No way in, no way out.
Who runs the Natural 20 Films?
I'm not 100%.
Well, they commented on the video. I just didn't know who it was, if they were in the chat.
Let's see if I can actually look at the video.
Yeah, the one-shot group has been pretty entertaining. Like, I don't know where else I would have used that Paladin of Cord character I had that I used in David Sun's game. It's like a bucket list character, but something like a one-shot's perfect for that.
Were you just talking about your gladiator?
Yeah, the Gladiator Paladin of Cord.
So, what did you think about that cantrip?
Yeah, True Strike was useless. But, like, the...
Firebolt, man.
Yeah,
Firebolt.
I know. I should have used Firebolt. The way that we ended up playing it, there really wasn't, like, a time to use it, or try to use True Strike out of battle.
Firebolt is the shit.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I took Spell Sniper or whatever it is.
What's up?
Oh, sorry. Natural 20 Films is the guy who does those RPG troll.
Oh, the animated?
The animated green dude with horns.
Oh, was he in here chatting with us?
No. I think he just
okay.
popped in, watched a little bit, and then commented. I don't think he was. Unless that's...
But yeah, Firebolt plus Spell Sniper it has a range of 240 feet, and it ignores half and 3/4 cover.
Wow.
It also becomes more powerful the higher the level you are.
Yes, I know, it's awesome.
Yeah, I have that on my Drow Sorcerer, and I love it.
And the thing is that you can roleplay it however you want. I shoot fire out of my eyes. Perfect. Who doesn't love that?
I like to, my drow uses it like Colonel Mustang from Full Metal Alchemist. I like click my fingers at people.
That's good too.
Ah, man. That just reminds me of that I'm super sad that I didn't do the finger point thing.
Oh.
You don't
Fill
even
up my
have to
first
make it a bolt either. Because it fires in a straight line, so you can do all kinds of stuff. My warlock, he sets his arm on fire, because it's part of his curse and stuff. But he forms a blade out of it that whenever he swings it down, it extends to his opponent.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's pretty sweet.
I usually have
firebolt
serpents.
Brad's trying to get a word in there.
Easy. You guys talk too much.
Hey, Brad.
No, I was going to tell him in my character in Dungeon Master Johnny's game is a sorcerer, and I did not take the firebolt cantrip because Philip was using it on his rogue. So I went with the frost one instead.
pretty
good. My character's taken up to getting trinkets off dead bodies, and other people want to do it too, and they felt like they shouldn't do it because my character did. And I think you should just do whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
Only one trophy taker per group.
I don't know why.
I will have the biggest necklace of ears. I'm gonna have Christmas decorations of ears, because that's how long the string will be. This is the goal. This is the new goal of my murder hobo, aka player character.
I love murder hobo.
That's my favorite term for a player character ever.
Oh, I finally got admitted into the YouTube RPG brigade.
Oh, cool.
One of us. One of us.
Google gobble, google gobble.
Oh, you guys like Ted Browning?
No way in, no way out.
You bunch of freaks.
The night time is the right time. The night.
Oh, Brad, thank you for sending me the description. I'll get this sent over to the artist right away.
Yeah, cool. Look forward to seeing it.
So guys, for my group that is playing in DMJ's little campaign here, I'm actually sending out the character descriptions to an artist that lives in Georgia, and she's going to be drawing up each character. And ultimately, I would like to have her create an animation sequence for the whole party as an introduction to the series.
Oh, wow.
That's cool.
Great
kind
idea.
of a la Acquisitions Incorporated. I thought it'd be nice.
Hey guys, I actually have to go, but I don't know if it'll kick you guys off when I go. If you guys want, I can either leave it on and just dead air when you guys do leave, or however you guys feel like doing it.
I have to take off too. My kids are going to be home from school any minute, so.
Later, Brad. Thanks for helping me with my character, by the way.
Yeah, no problem. See ya. See you guys.
Take care.
Yeah, I should probably get some work done.
Yeah, me too. I have some
Oh,
things I need to
man.
do. But it's good chatting.
Yeah, back to real life.
I enjoy it. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
Yeah, it's fun,
And
guys.
Fox, if you run that game, I do want to play in it.
Which one's that? Oh,
The
Numenon?
Numenon? Yeah,
Oh,
I
yeah,
don't know if
Toads.
you talked about other ones.
Toads.
But if you make pre-gens, I'm in.
Oh, speaking of, just like to try to, bring people's, I'm just kind of spreading the word out there. I'm trying to get signed up to run an event at BrigadeCon, which will be a level 20 5e one shot.
Yeah, I want to be in on that.
I do too.
Nice.
So I've got to find out how to bring people in. I'm trying to decide if I just want to let everybody in, or if that's going to allow anybody to get anything done when the fighter can throw like 8 attacks around and stuff.
Right, that's true. You'd have to pre-gen it probably.
Yeah, see, that's
And
one
limit
of the
things.
reasons why I'm putting it out there, is because I want to get the what I'm going to start trying to figure out how I'm going to take submissions for that. Whether I'm going to need to have some kind of mitigation thing, some kind of lottery or something, or how exactly they're gonna allow me to, how exactly I want to do it, and basically give whomever's in the knowledge they're in way ahead of time so that they can, familiarize and make what they want. That way, people aren't trying to figure out what they have day of.
Barker's working on the schedule today. You might want to send him a message to get that
I
on.
messaged him earlier. I actually have a game with him later today, so.
Oh, perfect.
So that'll work out.
Are you guys broadcasting that game?
Yeah. It's either going to be Barker's one-shot D&D game Part 5.
Okay.
Or that's kind of our inside joke, because it was a one-shot, now it's in its fifth
Horde
session.
of the Dragon Queen?
Or it's going to be Horde of the Dragon Queen run by me. I'm not sure. I'm not sure yet. I will be perfectly happy either way.
I see.
Because I developed, I don't know, I had kind of my interest had waned a little bit, and after the last session, I'm super into my character in that again.
Yeah, it's easy to get attached.
Yeah. Also, I'm trying to figure out if anybody has caught it yet, but my name in that game is a pun.
No.
I don't know if any of you guys have caught.
I haven't seen it.
What's the name of your character?
It's Mitchell knows because he's in that game.
Helena.
It's Helen Delodia.
Oh.
I am a life domain cleric.
Did you say Hello Nickelodeon? What?
Helen Delodia. It's in the.
I like Hello Nickelodeon better.
I put it in the chat there.
Okay.
But I didn't know if anybody had caught Helen Delodia.
Oh.
Oh, I see.
Oh.
It's over my head. I'm not smart like you guys. I swear.
It's a name. It's a phoneticization of healing the lot of you.
Oh. God.
Put a Texas drawl on it.
It's like having a rogue and calling him Po-Fo.
My last rogue was named Nick Aldergold, so.
I like that one too.
Nick Aldergold.
Yeah. I wore a
probably
tunic with the gold alder tree on it.
If we had all gone with funny character names, mine probably would have been like Mercy Minifist.
I still like my Brasswick Feeble Axe.
Nice.
I like that too.
Yeah, I love it. It's like, come on, he's supposed to have a strong dwarven name, and nope, he's got a feeble axe. All right.
I enjoyed that.
My
last
favorite.
dwarf. Sorry.
Oh, my favorite dwarven name of all time is Dunce Blunderstein, the dwarven idiot, and that's a Chris Perkins.
Nice.
My last dwarf was.
Dwarves are easy to come up with terrible
was,
names for.
Brock Forged Skin.
That's awesome.
But aren't they supposed to be like an alliteration? Like the first name and the last name should be the same letter, that kind of thing.
Like.
Oh, I don't know about that.
I don't know. I've always been a big fan of Benwin Bronzebottom, also.
I love that too.
That was such a good.
I stole. My group, when we were trying to create a character for a player who was supposed to be late, who ended up not showing up, we named his character Bronzebottom, and it was because I was thinking of Binwin Bronzebottom. I was like, just name him something Bronzebottom. I think they named him like Broadwick Bronzebottom or something. But yeah.